Hi everybody, welcome to Indigo Chameleon. It is Tuesday night and that means it is a wonderful night for D&D. I am your good buddy the Scribe and with me is this ragtag bunch of adventurers, and before we get started on tonight's adventure, we got a few announcements. Tuesday night, like I said, Wednesday night, not a lot going on here on Indigo, but there's always something going on at one of the other stations that we hang out with. Check over at the Plaster Dragon and check over at Random Encounters Productions. It's Random Encounters Prod. They've got an amazing channel, and we just did a guest appearance on their show. Last night we had nothing but the best time, and so check them out. They're good folks. And they put out some good gaming. Thursday night here is going to be an amazing one-shot. Indigo had this amazing idea where she, I think it was like, she woke up out of a sound sleep, she's like, Bard, one shot, but nobody sings. And I was like, go back to bed, it's 4 a.m. And then, but the next morning we talked about it, and it was this great idea. So tune in tomorrow night for Bard None. A one-shot involving Thursday night. One shot involving all bards, but none of them sing. They express their artistic. They sing, dance, make pretty drawings with a lance, because other people's brains might be like this, but their brains like this. So tune in for that.
That just happened.
Friday night, we haven't really talked about what's going to be going on here on Indigo. But I'm kind of tempted to do another homebrew and brew with you, and I'm thinking.
I believe that's what we have scheduled.
So I'm thinking about continuing the Harry Potter series. Last week we developed a Hufflepuff class, and we had some fun stuff with it for the wizard. I think I might need to see.
Chris missed that, and he's now.
Oh no!
I missed that.
I
definitely missed that.
So
was that working?
We have the Hufflepuff subclass, that I think is like a race, and they have special abilities if they're traveling with a Ravenclaw, a Slytherin, or a Gryffindor. So I think it might be time to do the Ravenclaw.
Go
So, and I can think of no better Ravenclaw than
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Indigo.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't put on a black hood and become a Death Eater and the quintessential Ravenclaw.
I needed something dramatic, and all I had was a hood.
I know. So Friday night.
Do something. Okay, there we go.
Friday night, you, me, date night, Ravenclaw, home brewing.
You, me, everybody who's watching.
Oh my.
It's just got awkward.
Tune in for that. Saturday night, not a lot going on. Sunday night, tune in for Indigo Chameleon. We've got some fun stuff going on. I think it is game night here. So we'll have a board game, and I'm starting to branch out a little bit and sort of find weird and obscure board games, and people are giving me suggestions and being like, nice, try this one. And I was like, this looks terrifying. I'm in. So tune in on Sunday for some crazy board game shenanigans. And then next Tuesday, we cycle back around to Wonder. You can follow us along on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can join the Discord. Join the Discord. That's where you're going to be kept in the know for any sort of last-minute schedule changes, and you'll be able to follow along with the first and foremost source for D&D memes and cat memes and a vampire RP we call Blood and Bourbon. It's a lot of fun. No role-playing experience required, so please join us for that. I think that's about it for announcements. So, adventurers, let's talk about last week. It was a birthday party. It was some great stuff. We had some adventures around the mouth, and honestly, you got to meet Mom and Dad, who Nyx just loved. He adored them. And Dad's like, take my magic power. And I was like, no, please, take my powers forever. And he's like, I can't, Nyx, you have to be an adventurer. And I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So there's also, what else did we have? We had the birthday party, we had meeting of Mom and Dad, we had Big D, and Big D Energy was around for a while, and we got to meet a gnome, and we learned about a little bit of an underground movement that's happening close to the Red Keep. Not necessarily with the best intentions from this underground group of rebels. The party made up for the most part, there might be some underlying tension, but they're all sort of bonded in their quest to do right by the world, the powers they've been bestowed. The other big deal that happened last night is by the end of the adventure, everyone's powers had returned to them. The hat had found its place on top of your head. Thoe was connected back to the earth and wonder. Nyx had access to his magical powers. Day was once again her normal, beautiful, charming self, and she could do magic. Because that's the real magic all along.
I healed a boy and got magic back.
The only one who had a little bit of difficulty was our good buddy Grim, who discovered that before Mom and Dad punished them, his puppy ran away. His sort of partner in crime, which is where we're going to pick up tonight's adventure. Grim, you had talked to Mom, and Mom had suggested doing a little bit of manual labor. So we kind of ended the episode last week with the Dormouse making a dramatic appearance and saying that you guys need to help his good buddy Dull with a caper, but you weren't privy to any of that because you were outside the house at that point. Give me a perception check as you are chopping some wood and getting stuff squared away.
I'm gonna change out my dice. That's a nat 1.
Nat 1 for the first one. So you're chopping wood, and eventually it's that thing where you're like you're doing something and you're sort of in the moment, you're sort of lost in it, and then you sort of turn and acknowledge like the wolf that's right next to you, and you sort of nod and like just keep chopping wood. And oh god, like there's a wolf right next to me. But there is a sort of grayish wolf. Looks a little larger than a normal wolf, who's just sort of standing there eyeing you.
4 legs, or is it like upright?
4 legs.
Whoa, calm down. And did you perhaps come from the forest? This beast, this wolf. Did I know like where it was coming from? Like did I hear it walking along me, but not once?
No, you didn't. You ain't found shit. This thing sort of came out of nowhere, so you don't know if it came out of the forest or if it manifested. So.
Well, it's about time you came back. I'm just gonna stand there.
Are you gonna sort of like extend your senses?
Yeah.
Okay, so you extend your senses outward, and you're like, "Hey, welcome back, buddy." When you connected to that wild feral side of you, it was kind of this thing that accented this trait of like kill, meat, blood, pack. Like you got really feral about it. When you extend your senses outward to this wolf, it's a good assumption to think that this would be your buddy. It's not him. Give me an insight check.
Goodbye, dice. 7.
It's not. That's the only thing I'd say to you is you sort of extend your senses, your feral senses. Your people are used to sort of channeling the energy of the creature within and stuff like that. But you are currently a man that does not have a creature to call home. As you extend your senses and sort of reach out, a voice filters into your mind.
What's this voice say?
This voice says, "So, you pissed him off, huh?
Pissed who off?
Your passenger. You pissed him off, huh?"
If this is another speech about pack and
Hey. No more speech. I think you and I could have a mutually beneficial partnership.
What do you bring to the table? You clearly will have the vessel, but what are you bringing to the table?
I'm not the strongest. I'm not the fastest. But I'm not going to take you over. You look like a smart guy. You look like a guy that wants to call the shots. And I am perfectly fine with that. Instead of having somebody go, pack this, you know, I choose this one, I choose this one. Why don't you and I work together?
So you'll let me be the cart and you'll just pull.
You choose the pack. I'll just be along for the ride. And when it's time and you need to call upon me, I come out. You get to be a little bit more ferocious. There's only one thing I ask.
What's that?
A partnership. Approach me. Talk with me. I'm not like the other ones. I'm not content to ride along. I want more of the human experience. And I think you've got a job opening.
Yes, like, and you wish to come along then?
Yeah, because
Be a part of this.
you're different. And I'm different. And maybe that's not a bad thing.
Well, can you hold your own? Could you fight when necessary?
Can you?
Well, all right. Take you one. And do you have a name?
Yeah, I do.
What's that?
Gray.
Great.
What about you?
Grim.
Gray and Grim. Sounds like the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Like a buddy sheriff of a story.
I'm not familiar with those.
We have time.
Good wolf, bad wolf.
You got it. I'm in.
Me too. And the wolf sort of bows his head.
But I was going to say, I'm just
The minute you bow your head, there's that feeling again, and you are whole. Your senses kick into overdrive. Nose, eyes, your eyes do that flashy thing. But this time you sort of like crane your neck, and you go through that sort of transformation period. The claws get a little longer, okay, than they normally would before. Before, when you had your other passenger with, you had these long black claws that sort of stretched out. These are almost like a white. Like a pure white that extend outward. As you sort of lean over, there's a puddle of water in front of you, and as these long white claws sort of reach out, there's no pain. Before, where like the pain would cut through your skin and your hands in a little bit. This feels more like breathing, like stretching. And as you look over at the puddle of water, it's not that yellow feral. You still have the smell, you still have the sounds, you still have the sense all around you, but it's more of, you're able to direct it a little bit more. Like as a bird chirps, you sort of look over this way, and those bright eyes that you see reflected in the water are not the bright yellow as the feral beast they were before. They are an icy steel blue that seems to take over your entire eye. And as you smile, you feel like the smile's just a little wider. Sort of the cunning side of things is a little bit more accented.
Yeah.
You'll still have access to all this stuff, but you've picked up a little bit of a perk working with Gray.
What's that?
With Gray, you have a +5 to intimidation checks and a +5 to persuasion checks should you initiate Gray and not transform.
So to ask him about...
You start releasing pheromones. The 1 minute counter kicks off, but you will get a +5 to persuasion checks. You will also take persuasion checks at advantage. You don't have to extend the claws, you don't have to, but Gray's natural charm and charisma just kind of comes out a little bit, and you start playing up the wolf side of things that I think fits more with Grimm's character.
Sweet.
Okay?
Sweet.
While that happens, you hear a commotion coming from inside, and as you sort of are still in wolf mode, you sort of rush in, and you catch the tail end of the conversation as this large anthropomorphic, love you Adrian, mouse sort of stands in the room, and is sort of talking to people, saying like, I need you, I need all of your help, please. I have a good friend of mine, a follower by the name of Dull, and I need your help. She needs your help. Do you think that's something that you could do?
What do you need us to do?
Good question. He starts looking around the house at that moment. He starts going over to a closet, and he measures the size of the closet, and closes the door, and goes over to maybe the bathroom, and that's not gonna do it.
What are you looking for?
We need a door. We need a big door.
There are lots of doors. You
No,
need
you
a
need
door
a-
in this house that's very big.
What's the biggest door?
What would be the biggest door in this
It
house?
would probably be the magic one.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have a magic door.
That's where we need to go.
The dormouse sort of takes off at a clip, and as he does, there's a flurry of movement. He's wearing blue robes, and his ears are sort of wrapped up with this cloth of different strips. there's like reds and blues and purples and yellows and oranges that sort of fly off, and you realize that if you pulled it down, it would cover the ears and stuff, and he would just sort of have this furry sort of face. So he goes taking off downstairs, and he looks at the door and he takes out some measuring tape and reaches up to the measuring tape and he's like, "Yep, that'll work." And reaches out towards the door and turns it and opens it. And as he does, there is a grassy field with a fire, and the door opens, and you see an individual sitting in this field. What does this individual look like?
She's about 8 feet tall. She doesn't have a lot of hair because it looks like it's been pulled out. But that's fine. She's got a beautiful, like, kind of lavender-ish kind of skin tone. But she's real beefy, and her clothes are tattered and burned, and yeah.
So you see this individual, and she cuts a very dark, like, sort of demeanor. Like, she's big, she's beefy, and she's bruised and cut to hell and back. But as the dormouse opens the door, and this door sort of opens up on this idyllic sort of field and stuff like that, this sort of brooding sort of figure like turns around, looks at the door, and is like, "Oh, hello!"
Hi, Scott!
And the dormouse just runs off and like jumps into Dull's arms and gives her like a huge hug. And he so much so it's one of those hugs that he wraps his tail around you as he hugs you.
Hi, I thought you were gone.
No, I'm not gone. I'm right here.
I missed you so much.
I know.
You're white today. That's crazy.
I'm trying it on. I don't know if I like it, but hey,
Yeah.
I got you something.
What?
I think I found you some friends.
You found me friends?
And he will sort of disengage from himself, and he'll sort of point towards the door, and as I'm sure like 5 faces are sort of peeking out at different angles at this door that has manifested itself.
I have friends.
I ran over to her.
Oh, you're cute and adorable. I hug her.
Yes, I'm furry. I get that.
I like that. I don't have a lot of fur, so it's great.
You look like you need some help. Can I help you?
No, I got everything I need right now.
Can I help? And I cast Cure Wounds on her.
Thoe is a large green. So she's got like green hair, and she's this creature. She almost looks like a half animal, half person. But as she reaches her hand out to you, you are filled with this sort of warm, healing glow. It feels happy, like, and as she touches you, all of those wounds that are around you, all the bruises. So, how much was it?
It was 8.
Yeah, so all those wounds start to close a little bit. All of those deep, like, purple bruises start to fade just a little bit. As she sort of moves back from your hug, you watch as the wounds close and begin to heal.
I'm sorry, that was awfully forward. I probably should have asked first, but you just really looked like you needed some help.
Whoa! What just happened?
Oh, you had some.
Yeah, no, they're gone.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Well, I would probably have to cut you, and I
yeah,
really don't
no.
want to do that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that would be a good idea.
But you know, if you fall and trip and bruise yourself or something, I'll help you out again.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'm Zoe. Hi.
I'm Dull.
Hi, Dole.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Your hand, I think out of all the people here, your hand just kind of barely fits. Like your hand is probably going to come the closest to fitting in her hand. Normally, but you said you're short for
I'm
one,
short
so
for a furbolg. I mean, I'm
nipples.
still tall, but
Yeah, she's big, gang. She'd be big, like 7 feet.
8.
8.
7
Yeah, 8 feet
Oh.
tall. Like.
oh, hello. You're very tall.
You're right.
I'm like 6'5", so.
Yeah.
I'm like
5'7".
Damn, I know.
I will stand in your shadow.
That's accurate.
Mandrake will come out from around the door and walk over and kind of examine her a little bit and say, "What are you?"
I'm Dull.
No, I got that.
Give me an investigation check. So you see this sort of like elvish guy. He's got like a hat, and the hat seems to be moving around a little bit. Like, and he's just walking around you, sort of studying.
So that's an 11.
She's dull. You pick up on the fact that she's seen some hard times, but the fact that she's apparently been through all of this, but her first instinct was to hug someone,
Right.
is a little odd.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Can I give some of my rations?
Yeah.
Given
Hang on, just a sec. What?
given the history of the Red Keep and everything, would she be, or at least what she is, would she be recognizable today?
Yeah, give me a history check.
Come on. Where are you, history? That's a 19.
Okay, so here's the deal about she's a Goliath, right? Half Goliath.
Gladiator.
Well, like her race.
Oh, hold on. I can't remember. I did half work.
Half orc.
Yeah.
Okay, so half orcs are not notoriously like this at all. Any half orcs that you find in the kingdom are going to be similar to the ones that stole all that stuff, sort of move in warrior packs. They don't normally move in as individuals, and they certainly don't hug people unless it's
Or
to
make
like break
friends
their
with mice.
spine or to make friends with mice. I would say the history check is high enough that the keep sometimes uses them for entertainment.
Okay. Like she would know that.
You
that
were
you
at
sometimes
several
would-
parties where orcs would fight in the middle of the room. People would poke them with spears, and it was
Right.
like a to the death thing while people ate food and just clapped along.
Right. Well, I played.
Yeah,
Like.
what you did back then.
Yeah. Hello. You're quite fascinating.
I don't know what that one means, but you're
It
smiling, so it seems good.
You're very cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty normal temperature.
But that's fair.
She means you're kind.
Oh, yeah, you right.
Well, what brings you to the middle of the field?
Oh, you see that fire over there?
Yes.
I came for Dale.
You came from the fire?
Yeah.
You didn't start the fire, right?
Oh God, no! I woke up and the whole place was like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was real scary.
Wow,
This whole
that's
place?
scary.
Huh?
This
yeah.
whole place.
Yeah, that thing.
Oh,
Right there.
all the way over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's where that's where I was kept.
Make out what that place is.
Give me an insight check.
Woohoo.
You were kept like you escaped?
Yeah,
Oh,
because it
Well,
burned down.
Over there is anywhere but right here.
cool.
Okay.
For I think when she goes over there, it's anywhere but like right in this spot.
Maybe we should all sit and eat for a moment.
As you say that, the dormouse sort of perks up and goes, "That is an excellent idea. To the house, yes?" And he sort of walks past everyone. Then he walks forward and then sort of circles back and grabs Dull by the hand and like and drags Dull forward into the house. You give me just a straight up intelligence check. Yes.
We have not short
Intelligence, that is 20, not at.
So these guys are all sort of paying attention to Dell, and you're doing the thing that normally Nyx does, where you're sort of keeping a watchful eye. You're wary because you've been burned in the past by people coming in, and when the dormouse walks in, everybody sort of gather around Dell, and they're sort of walking forward with her. When the dormouse walks in, he walks up the stairs, and you're sort of following close behind him, keeping an eye on him. You're noticing that he is taking these steps really fast, and as he gets into the kitchen, he knows exactly where the dishes are, he knows exactly where the cups are, he knows exactly where the food is, and he starts preparing a spread on the table. And it takes you a second, but you realize that he's been here.
Did you live here before we got here?
Oh, I lived everywhere. Well, at least my family does.
But
You've
you're-
got like 2 in the attic. You got 3. One just knocked over a fork.
I didn't do it.
No, I know you didn't. But there's 4, I think, under the floorboards
For what?
of my family.
So, mice in the house.
Yes.
Hang on,
Is
you got a
he-
problem
he's
with mice?
That wasn't.
Yeah,
Hold
what's
on, I'm
wrong
getting
with
there. Is he like big for a mouse? Like, is he?
He's human sized.
He's human
human
sized.
sized, but,
Yeah,
he looks like a giant
so-
mouse.
Mice
Mhm.
your size in the house?
Well, you know what they say about the meat, right?
Mighty?
No, they shall inherit. And he continues to set up like cups and things like that at the table and stuff like that. He even runs back into the living room, takes a chair out, like looks over at Dull, looks back at the chair, sort of waves his hand, and as he passes his hand over it, the chair like grows to accommodate Dull's size, and he like ushers you over and has you sit in the chair.
I get a throne?
You do.
Wow!
Would anyone like tea?
Cool. Yes, please, absolutely.
I'll go start brewing tea.
You walk into the kitchen, push the door open. As you do, Mother comes out carrying a tray of tea, and she takes and just wipes a little bit of smudge off your face as you went outside, and sort of starts setting up tea and doing that. And the dormouse looks over and says, "Thank you, Mother. I need your help, and I thought that Dull could use the help. You see, I know you don't know me, but I do know all of you. And the kindness that you've extended to some of my family in the past, and the kindness that you've extended to others. I need something. I need something retrieved that once belonged to me and was taken unfairly. The problem is it's not easily gotten, and I don't know how, but I can't get access to it. None of my family have gained access, so I'm having a difficult way of planting myself long enough in a spot to get to it.
Well, first question: what is it that you're looking for?
I'm very glad you asked. He traces some arcane sigils in the air, and as he does, a image appears in the middle of the table and begins to revolve slowly. This is what I need you to find. It is beautiful. It is bronze. It is handcrafted. It is a doorknob. And it begins to slowly sort of revolve. It looks like a very innocuous like doorknob. You see arcane sigils sort of traced into the base, not the bulb itself, but the base of it. You see certain arcane sigils sort of traced in.
Working under the assumption that this is a magical doorknob,
Yes.
because I assume that it must be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What exactly does the doorknob do?
It opens a door.
Well, yes, that would be clear. But what sort of door might it open? I mean, it could open a door to a very wonderful magical place, or it could open a door to like something scary.
Oh no! I wouldn't open. It's very scary. I'm trying to track down a dear friend of mine.
Oh, and your friend is behind the door.
Yes.
Could this door just appear out of nowhere and take anyone anywhere?
No. This is a very sort of set sort of door, and I know it's a lot to ask, and I know that time is of the essence, and
When you hold on to the doorknob, is the door gonna just appear?
we can talk about it in a little bit.
Mandrake is gonna walk
Bless
over
you.
and pat him on the back and say, "You're in luck, sir. I love taking things."
Thank you. Because you will have your work cut out for you. I need you to rob a bank.
I love this.
Not just any bank. I need you to rob the bank.
Wait, the bank?
You give me a history check at advantage. Everybody else give me a history check. Just straight up rolls.
19.
17.
I rolled 2 11s.
17.
17,
17.
17,
19.
19.
13.
15.
We'll pick it up. Over
Everyone rolled higher than me. 11.
Okay.
We're gonna.
You are so excited. You guys start out. There have been stories. Wonder is a land filled with magical artifacts and affluent personalities, and even the Red Keep. You can't keep things there because one of the most notorious heroes that ever lived, his great-grandfather, was a thief. Like, was a bit of a rogue and stuff like that. Like, and yes, he served the court, but even if he wasn't, he was thought to be one. So how do you hide things from the hatters? How do you hide things from people that can go into walls? You create a bank. You can't keep the bank in the same place because a bank staying in the same spot could get hit constantly. You could learn its defenses. So they created one that didn't stay in the same place. They created a moving bank. They created Windlock. Windlock was a bank that was a boat that would travel around across the continent, never stopping in the same place twice. The first floor being a affluent party that was always going, a restaurant, a place where the wealthy and powerful of Wonder could sit and meet and talk and brag about what wonderful things they had and amazing things they had, while servants or other members of the party would be securing them in the bottom half of the ship, which was a floating, impenetrable fortress.
Excuse me?
Yes?
I mean, I know what a bank is, and a bank is where people store their stuff to keep it safe, and it just feels like it might be a little bit wrong to be stealing people's stuff when they stored it there in the first place.
This again.
Yes, that is very true. However, I'm not having you steal other people's stuff. I'm having you steal my
Yeah,
stuff
it was his.
back that once belonged to me.
Yeah, but how do we know that?
That's a question. Who stole the thing from you?
I think it's our question is how do we know that? He could be lying to us.
But if you ask him who stole it, we can figure out if it's worth it anyway.
This is very true. How about this? He outstretches a hand to you. He takes your hand and he turns it. And as he does, a bit of your brain unlocks and opens up.
Ouch.
And I know. Thoe casts the spell Zone of Truth.
I can't cast that spell normally.
The Thoe in this world can't cast Zone of Truth. This Thoe casts Zone of Truth. So look up the spell Zone of Truth.
Yeah.
And Thoe casts Zone of Truth, and the spell extends to everyone.
Jesus.
Now, you can choose to fail this and just tell the truth if a question is asked to you. Or you can choose to make the save. Okay? So Zoe casts Zone of Truth. What is Thoe's DC?
Thoe's DC is my brain stopped. Its spell attack is +6. Wisdom.
Yep.
Duh. +3, so 13, right? Is that the DC?
It's going to be close to like a 15, a 16, or 17. If you look at some of your spells and they have like a wisdom save or something.
Yeah, my wisdom save is +6, so it's 16.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it'll be a 16. So everyone here needs to make a wisdom save of 16.
If they're not wanting to just...
If they're not just wanting to spit out the truth.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Damn.
Not just.
I'm not.
No?
I got nothing to lie.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
mean,
Yeah, okay. So the Dormouse does it. So, Thoe, you know when somebody's telling you the truth or not. Okay?
Okay.
And he repeats back to you, this belonged to me. It was stolen, and I promise not to use it for malevolent uses. I use it to rescue an old and dear, dear friend.
Okay. I believe you. So how do we do it?
He asks for your hand again, and
Are you gonna make me cast another spell?
no, he goes like this, and that part of your brain goes,
Oh!
and the spell drops around everyone. He goes, I don't know. I've never had access to Windlock. I have ways that I can help. I know people that have, I can tell you what I know about it, but for the most part, it's going to require cunning. It's going to require all of you to do your part in order to make your way onto the ship. Here is what I do know. Tomorrow night, it is set to make dock here at one of the ports close to the Red Keep. I can transport you to where it's going to touch base. Okay. I can also give you the reason for entering in to the ship, and he looks around and finds a cupboard. He opens the cupboard and there's a bunch of food, and he closes it and he like puts his hand against it, and then when he opens the cupboard again, he takes out one sack of platinum coins, puts it on the table. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Day grabs it before Mandrake can.
7. He's like, I think, this is 70,000 platinum pieces.
I would very much like for you to do that again.
So this goes out to be like about 700,000 gold pieces. This should be enough that you will have reason to be making your way to the ship.
I feel it would take at least 140,000.
Give me a persuasion.
Day's grabbing the 70,000 platinum though.
Okay.
Is that
Just
Yeah, I'm
in
down
one
with that.
hand. Just
we're before he can get it?
It's an 8.
Well, no. I think you're going to be just fine with this. So here's what you have. I can transport you there. Here's what I know of the ship. Upstairs is on the first deck is a giant party and restaurant. Normally people there mingle and mix and talk with one another and share stories of their exploits and things of that sort. When you are ready to visit the bank and make a deposit, you order the souffle. Upon ordering the souffle, a waiter will come by and take 2 individuals to the vault to drop off whatever it is they were looking to get. It is not uncommon to go in with an entourage and to have a guard and escort. So none of you should stand out greatly. I would recommend that someone here take charge and be sort of the voice of the group and do a little bit of the talking. There are many entrances into the ship if somebody wants to take an alternate route. There are lots of guards. To prevent guards from taking over, the majority of them are automatons. Mechanical men.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, when are we supposed to do this? Are we supposed to do this today, or are we supposed to do this tomorrow? 'Cause that could make a really big difference.
Tomorrow evening, and I know that
excellent.
you are connected to the Earth, so we'll have a little bit easier time, and I'm sure that Mandrake, at least this Mandrake, you have access to certain spells. And
I feel like I might do some serious meditating tonight.
You can sort of plan accordingly. Do you want some help?
Well, I'll take any help you're willing to give at this point.
He reaches for your hand and turns it, and he unlocks everything. So what that means is you have a one-time only while you sleep tonight to reshuffle any and all spells that you want to shuffle for this adventure. When you wake up in the morning, okay, like these are spells in your class list that you have ability to, but normally bards can't change stuff until that level up. So now, one time only, like he unlocks everything. So that Day took different steps and different paths and different steps to get to this point.
Alright.
Did you get it? You just got it, didn't you? We're playing along sliding doors here. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. Rest then, right? Del, a place to sleep and a place to have some food and company. If you all don't mind, I'll stay here with you.
No, that's fine.
Perfect. Yeah. Yes, I'll come stay with you.
Yeah.
And Mother sort of eyes go wide, and she goes, "I will make up the guest room. I will need another bed." And she hurries off to the guest room and starts fiddling around with a.
I get a bed.
I think so. Del.
You should go and thank her.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Hugs are nice.
I'm gonna
I
grab.
love hugs.
I'm gonna walk up to the dormouse and kind of pull him to the side. And am I far enough away from everybody?
You could just say, like, hey, could I speak with you?
Yeah, could I speak with you for a moment?
Sure. The two of you step to the kitchen and sort of go outside and sort of close the door
Okay.
behind you.
What else do they keep in this bank?
Everything. Magical items. I know there's a few gin in there.
Yeah.
Plenty of gold,
Let's
platinum.
go back for a moment. Gin?
Yes, they are beings of magic that grant wishes. Usually,
No,
like
I know what a gin is.
Yeah.
So like the 3-wish limitation, like that is in the stories, or is that inaccurate?
Yes, but you probably don't want to do that. I've seen what happens when you do that, and it does not go well.
Fair. If I were to,
Humans need things. Yep. He'll open the door. He's like, if you do this for me, you can keep the gold. Is that okay?
Yes.
the gold or the platinum?
I'll think about it. And he closes.
70,000
And he turns back to you. Is that all right?
Anything that would have fallen in my pockets while we're walking about the bank, is that fair game?
Oh, I don't care. I just need the doorknob.
Perfect. Tea?
Yes. Yes.
I won't walk back inside.
Do look after Della.
Of course.
She's very important.
I enjoy having a bit of muscle around.
Me too. And he will he will go inside and have tea. You guys have the evening to make any sort of preparations, to talk, to look at spells, to converse with one another about things that are going on.
Family meeting!
Is this ship heavily armed? Like, is there guns and other such?
Thomas one.
Well, of course. But
There,
cannons?
I don't know. I have heard that their defenses are extensive, but I don't know. I've never seen them. None of my family is there, so it's harder for me to. All of this is stories. Yes, I've heard of magical attacks and the automatons having abilities, but guns, I'm not sure.
And when it makes port, will it then fly off again as we are on it, or will it stay for the
Well, it
evening?
doesn't fly. It will stay on the ocean and sort of go to the next stop. But once you get on board, you are on your own. You are cut off from me.
How long does it stay at port?
I think you would have a good hour, maybe 2.
I see.
It's a rush job.
Well, we find another way back home.
We have meetings.
Thank you, Dormas.
Of course. Thank all of you. This is I'm extremely grateful. You don't make many friends in my time that are tall.
Did you know him?
Who?
My grandfather.
Yes.
Where is he now?
If you don't know, I'm not going to piss him off by telling you.
The stories lead me to believe that that's wise.
Well, I also worked on that. We all did. We put a little bit of our touch.
You all?
Yeah, yes. You don't know this yet. Never mind. Sorry, wrong one.
That could get old very quickly.
Does it do the thing yet? Does it poof and then come back?
It does?
Give me a deception check. Since you put a question mark at the end of it.
Deception?
At disadvantage.
Okay, that's a 15. Come on! Damn it, that one.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Maybe I can work on that if you come back. If you'd rather trade up your share of the gold.
I'll have to think on that.
It really is quite clever.
Could you tell us what you know of the defenses? All of them. I know automatons. There might be jinn roaming about. Okay. I think we should all talk before.
That's probably a good idea. Logical.
The dormouse will give you a reassuring like hand squeeze, like a kid on the first day of school. Like,
Me?
very nice. Yeah.
I'm upstairs.
You went to follow mom.
Yeah.
Are you just staying up there with mom? Let's go to that scene then. Mom is sort of like preparing the bed and stuff like that. And as she does, she sort of goes over to a guest room and sort of looks at it and opens the door. And the bed is not big enough. And as she closes the door, she opens it back again. And now the bed is the majority of the room. And she says, much better. Oh, hello, dear. Did you?
Is that mine?
That's yours.
Am I allowed to jump in it?
I mean, one second, and she'll close the door and open it up, and now you see sort of reinforced black bars that are sort of around and under the bed, and she goes, yes, dear, you may. Now.
Ah! Dive bomb.
I'm not even going to make you guys roll perception. The house starts to shake from the top stairs as you just hear.
Looks like someone's very excited about a bed. Or something.
I'm gonna run upstairs to check on Mother.
Yeah, mom's fine. She's sort of standing there. And she's like happy. She was like, you kids used to do this all the time when you were younger.
This is the best day ever.
You didn't exist before 2 days ago.
I know, but I'm just assuming you did because I know you all so well.
Madway, you should jump in a bed. It's real great. I don't know if you've ever done it before.
I do a lot of jumping, actually.
Do you join her?
Sure. I'll run and jump and.
So now you hear like, dude, like, and Mandrake is gone. Mandrake, give me a straight up acrobatics check. Dull's big. And jumping on a bed with Dull, like...
double water trick.
Yeah.
Bad.
Bounce me, bounce me.
Oh my gosh. We play popcorn.
It's a 14.
You're okay. You managed to... There's a couple of close calls where, like, Dull's like, get in, and you manage to just sort of dodge out of the way just in time. But you have a kind of enjoyable time with her. There's a lightness. There's a frivolity there that you don't normally get in this house. It's infectious.
When we kind of settle down a bit, I'm going to turn to Doll and say, we need to come up with a plan.
For what? You want to jump again? Like, you want to run and jump?
So much.
No, we need to go talk to Dormouse about getting the doorknob.
Oh, alright.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the blankets and wrap them around myself and go back down.
You want Snuggie or Cape?
Ooh, this is
I want a cape.
Cool. Yeah, you guys...
Make a cape.
Like, Doll comes back downstairs, that green sort of like hulking figure, and as she does, she sort of looks around at everyone and just sort of nods and like sits back in the chair, but as she does, she sort of like poofs out the cape so that when she sits it's sort of, but she doesn't really have a lot of control, so she kind of poofs it out and it goes like... but everybody is sitting at the table, and the Dormouse is sort of sipping his tea.
Okay.
You keep saying plan, Mandrake. So what do you have in mind?
Well, honestly, until we get there, I don't know.
So then what's the point to this?
I think we should pair up.
It's not a bad idea.
I picked Dormouse.
Well, I can't go. I have no footing there, dear. I'm so sorry. That's the whole reason for asking you and your new friends to do this.
No.
But I'll be waiting for you when you come back.
Okay.
We have
you
lots.
promise.
We have lots of things to do. I promise.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how we're going to get on the ship. I just know that I'm really, really, really bad at lying. But I do think that if I really took some time to concentrate tonight, I could manage to remember how to walk across water. And I could probably take somebody or more than somebody with me. That might help us a little.
More than somebody, how many?
Well, I can really take quite a few people. Like, I could take even more than just us. So I think I've got all of us covered if necessary. But if you wanted to try two different methods of getting onto the ship, then perhaps those of us who are a little better at lying could try that.
Is it me or is it you? Because I'm not sure which one she's referring to.
I don't lie.
All I know is it's not me.
Me neither.
How about this? I'm not meant to be walking across the water, and I feel that 2 points of entry might be a better idea. So I'll stand up from wherever I'm sitting, because I'm sure I'm sitting having tea, and with my special effects club, and like just have the most elaborate outfits that would more or less match what I would think these people would be wearing on this very nice ship.
Sure. It's pretty cool. Del, you watch as Grim sort of his clothes that he's wearing sort of changes, and he looks very affluent and opulent and sort of stuff. So
as soon as he does that, my face changes.
Like,
Oh, like
give me an insight
not
check.
like
that is gonna be 18.
Dole doesn't like that.
Can I also incite her face
Yep.
with
I'm gonna
this
roll as well.
situation?
Because
yeah, is this noticeable?
Yeah, can we all?
Yeah, everybody can do it.
is this a money thing or is it a
23.
23. You don't know.
I don't know.
18.
I think perhaps you should do the wardrobe change. Like, just you should stick with me, doll. We'll walk across the water together.
Then I want to shift it back to whatever dolls or with like the cape over the head and shit.
You have no idea how long all of this takes to dry.
I'm going to actually turn to Dull and say, what was that?
What was?
What's wrong?
I don't know. Are you?
Oh,
You're back to you.
No, it's just a piece of fabric. It's not actually. It's for whatever I want. I can.
You're not going to make me do things I don't want to do.
No. Like, on the contrary, like you just be who you are. The fantastic.
I don't want to fight if I don't have to anymore.
No. By all means, you take whatever road you choose to take, and that is what you choose to do.
He's generally very nice. And if he's not, I just turn into a wolf and I bite him.
We're not allowed to do that anymore.
Why not?
Mother and father said so.
You said anymore. Were you one of theirs? She just wants to like go in and like hug her and like cradle her. I am so sorry they did that to you.
Hey, Del, you give me an insight check now.
I was kind of basing that off of the original insight. And
It's 14.
She comes up to you and she hugs you, and it's very sweet. The pretty lady is coming up to you. When she hugs you, you get the fact that she kind of knows. Like, she gets it. You know when people get it. Like, Dory gets it. Like, Dormouse gets it. Like, she gets it. So, this is a safe space. Like, so take whatever comfort in that you want.
I run outside.
You run outside?
Yes, I run outside. And I gather up a whole bunch of plants and I run back inside and I sing, Doll! And I make them all bloom. Destruction!
What the hell?
Flowers.
Wow. I don't even. I've only seen those outside.
Now, Dull, you have had 5 birthdays that didn't get to be celebrated, correct?
Oh, I didn't think I got to celebrate birthdays. Everybody else gets to do. I don't. That's not for me.
Does Overland have any connection to the bank? Like, is it only
Overland has a presence in the bank.
fantastic? Would I
This
know
thing
that?
hits all of Wonder.
I would know that.
Yes, you would know that Overland has a place in the bank. Give me a D20. Don't show anybody else what the number is, but text me what you get. Well, I think we should have a bit of a party before we rest and have a birthday party for Dull. If everyone's all right with that.
As long as it's not a dull party.
That was awful.
Wait,
What is it?
But he,
We are not friends.
but he just said I get a party. I don't get a party.
It's gonna be great. I'm gonna go like bring her some tea, but it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic.
He's trying to be funny.
he claps his hands, and as he does, some of you may be okay with this, some of you may not be. As the door, okay, I'm gonna use that later.
Fantastic.
Oof, a doof, bud. The doors, the doors open, the windows open, and mice come pouring in to the house from all sides. They are carrying small decorations, flowers, and things like that. There is a banner that says, "It is your birthday," and it is set up behind Dull. There are cakes and pastries and various.
Where's the headbands and you cleaned up?
I did clean
That's
up.
what I did.
And various. There's one right there. There's one right there. Dull.
Headbands.
Dull. Quit vaping.
So sorry. Bad habit. I have to kick it.
And the Dormouse and all of his friends start throwing a somewhat raucous, birthday party, food and drinks and stuff like that. Mother immediately gets into the habit and starts setting up games, and it is sort of a fun night. As the night wears down, he brings over a little package. The Dormouse does, and it is wrapped and has a bow on it.
What is it?
You open it up, and it is a cape. Like the bed sheets.
Is it for me?
It's for you. What's your favorite color?
Autumn.
And sure enough, the Dormouse sort of waves his hand again, and this is a rainbow cloak of the Montebank. I know it's hard for you to sort of get places sometimes, so once a day, though, you're going to be able to disappear and reappear in a place. So if you look on D&D Beyond, there is a wondrous item called the Cloak of the Montebank, which now belongs to Dell. So you
It
basically
is red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and.
and he goes, why don't you try it? Why don't you think about your bedroom upstairs?
Okay.
Okay? And grab the cape when you think about it. She grabs the cape and she thinks about her bedroom upstairs, and there is a loud farting noise as the smell. This is written into the cape, not the farting noise, but I think Del would appreciate it. As the space fills with brimstone, it smells like rotten eggs a little bit, and she is transported upstairs to her bedroom.
Montague?
What was it?
Montebank.
Montebank.
Cloak of the Montebank.
Well, that could be very useful.
Cape of the Montebank. Here, I'll send you the stats right now.
Oh, it's a cape.
Yeah. Cape of the Montebank.
That's my bad.
When you disappear, you leave behind a cloud of smoke that smells a little bit like brimstone.
So, taking advantage of the party, I'm going to walk by Nix and say,
Before he gets there,
that
Before he gets.
I see him coming. Guys, something you should know before we get ready for tomorrow. I don't know if this will be an issue, but because it may be, I'm just gonna let you guys know beforehand. Some of you know more about me. I've told some of you guys. Is she good at keeping secrets?
Who do you
I'm
dress the
asking
Dormouse?
the Dormouse if she's good at keeping secrets.
Dull loves fiercely.
Okay.
If you ask her not to say something, she'll understand.
This is very important, so you can't tell anybody, okay? So you guys know I haven't been truthful about who I am. Some of you know why, some of you have hinted at it, but I'm just gonna go out and say it. My name's not actually Nix. It's actually Nivon DeVoe. I am the Prince of Overland, and and there was a coup about 5 years ago, and my father was killed, and I've been on the run since then. And I'm sorry I haven't been very truthful with you guys, but when you have a leader of a country out to kill you, you don't really trust much. You never know who's listening, who to trust. But I just figured it'd be fair to tell you guys, since we might run into someone who could know me from that fact.
So then, do we need to disguise you?
I don't know, but I do have disguising spells ready, if need be.
I grab Dave's hand and squeeze it tightly.
I'm gonna take
Oh, gosh.
off the.
Days, man?
I'm gonna take off my fire crown and I'm done pretending to be something I'm not. And this would look silly on that ship anyways, and I just toss it.
Oh.
As you toss it, the dormouse walks over and picks up another sort of happy birthday hat. Says, well, it seems like it's your birthday as well. It's very good to meet you.
Looks better anyway.
What do you want us to call you?
Nix, please. Please.
Okay, because I was gonna get really overwhelmed by
don't.
trying to remember that really long name. I mean, I guess it's not really that long, but it's a whole lot longer than Nick's.
Just Nix.
I'm gonna.
She'll cast message to Dole. He's not them. You're okay.
You hear a voice in your head of saying,
Oh,
you
Just
know,
confusing this
he's not one of them.
This poor person.
Dull does not hide the fact that you just cast a message.
Ventriloquy, my dear. I've gotten very good at it over the years.
Are you actually saying that to me?
Yes.
She has no idea what ventriloquy
You think they may have a disease called ventriloquy.
When you make the puppets talk, but your lips don't move.
What's a puppet?
That's very fair.
You think a puppet bit her and gave her ventriloquy.
Do I need to kill it?
Don't you? But every now and again, sometimes I'll say things without moving my lips. You'll see.
Ah, well that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's something I've acquired over the years.
I'm gonna reach out and grab Nix's hand, his forearm, and shake it and say, "See, I told you it'd be fine." And then I'm gonna lean in and say, "That wasn't so hard, now was it?" And then I'm gonna walk over to Grim and try to get Day to come over.
Is it going to be a holy trinity?
What are you doing? Are you like you're? What are you?
Like,
you're just.
I'm
nodding, like-
gonna like wave you over.
Are you okay for a moment alone, dear? It always seems like she's probably going to be doing something very interesting soon at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, she moved flowers a second ago.
Yes! Go hang out with her.
Okay.
And I'll be back momentarily.
You guys watch as Dull sort of takes a step, and as she does, like 100 mice sort of like crawl around like the living spots, and she's like amazing.
He's like tiptoeing over them, like, oh, please don't touch me, you're very cute. Okay, moving on.
Okay. So. I know that things are tense, but the two of you are the best deception that we have.
You know, I had a feeling it would come down to it.
If anyone's going to go head on, it should be you.
She has the best presence.
Oh.
I think the
You know what's
dormouse
wrong?
chokes on a little bit.
This spit take.
The best presence and showmanship also. So I agree.
A distraction couldn't hurt.
I have this wonderful issue where I can't tell the difference between forgiveness or denial. So I'm in.
I am sorry for the way things happened.
Can we move on, please?
We absolutely can. But we can't go into this with anger. We have to trust one another.
Honey, it was never anger. It was, without a doubt, unequivocally, fear.
Agreed.
Okay. The night goes on, unless anybody has any conversations with the dormouse that they have independently, or he sort of at one point like curls into the room with Dull and sort of as Dull sleeps, he sort of sits up and just sort of strokes her hair and
What's left of it?
what's left of it, and just sort of spends some time with her. So.
Do I have any ingredients in the house that I could maybe make a potion before I go to
You
sleep?
have that space in your room with a bunch of potions. Give me a straight up Arcana check. This will show me how much you have and what you're able to put together from the. I know.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 25.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, man. You've got some. You've got enough to make a couple of water breathing potions.
Okay.
Should the need arise. You spend a little bit. 25. What did you roll?
A 19.
Okay, you start going through the pages of one of the books that you find in the library, and you find a water breathing potion.
Mm-hmm.
You manage to make a couple of those.
Okay.
You also find one that it looks like it's scribbled in the margins of the book.
Okay.
You have enough ingredients to make that. It's called the Get Out of Jail potion.
Jail? Is that a thing?
It is now.
Okay.
You don't know what it does. You don't know what, but you have enough ingredients to make it.
I make one of those.
You make it. So put down an asterisk next to the Get Out of Jail potion,
Okay.
and let me know when you drink it. Okay.
Okay.
The potions of water breathing should be in there, and it'll allow two people
Okay.
to sort of breathe underwater for an extended period of time. But yeah, anybody else do anything with their night?
Is it Monday? Because I have it written down here in big bold letters. Date with Bob.
It is Monday. It is Sunday.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday.
Okay.
So the next day is Monday.
Okay.
So your date with him is there, and what we can do is maybe for fun, you can go on a date with him, and you and I can RP it in the Discord
Oh my god.
this week, if you would like to, and we'll do rolls and everything under
Under the Cheshire Club.
Yeah.
under the Cheshire Club. We'll do the date with Bob because there's a
Tune
couple.
into the Cheshire Club on Indigo Chameleon's Discord to see how Day and Bob's date goes.
And Grim, if you want to tag along to see how this date goes, I would allow that
Sneaky
as well.
sneak.
You got-
Blink blink.
DM question. Do I still get advantage whenever entering doors?
What do you mean?
We discussed this last time.
You have it when you're breaking down.
To get into doors.
Yeah, basically you have something that I'm calling a siege bonus.
Okay.
Okay. If you're using your attack to break down a wall or a door, I'm giving you triple damage. So you will roll
that's
damage.
different than what we talked about.
That
Okay.
is.
Gosh.
That is. I'm gonna give you you're gonna roll to attack and then roll damage, and you're gonna get 3 times as much when it's used to kick down a door or like a part of wall that's in your way.
Okay.
Okay, as the follower, if not one of the only followers of the Dormouse.
Is that, and that's with strength, correct?
Yeah, it's just your straight up strength.
Wait,
So if
so
you're
I'm rolling,
rolling and then you're
adding strength,
adding
then
your
tripling
strength, tripling it, multiplying by 3.
it. Let's do it.
Okay.
She's gonna be looking for doors to break down.
Oh, you have no idea.
Can I?
All
my
of the bad
God.
guys are walking
Alright.
through.
Who is preparing mending right now in our house?
Can I commune with Gray? Just kind of see how this all works with like this new.
Yeah. What do you do?
So I'm because he's now a part of me, would he then? I gotta make sure he now knows what
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
about to do. So, as I want to take this on the right foot, because you said this is more of a relationship, I want to add you to this.
Absolutely. That's all I want.
You ready for this?
Am I ready?
You ready for some fun?
We're about to break into a bank that nobody's ever broken into, steal something that was stolen from a walking, talking god, have the god owe us a favor, and if we manage to get out of this okay, we're walking away with a shit ton of gold. I'm more ready for this than I have ever been for anything in my life.
Good. This is gonna be exciting. But I wanted to get checking with you. Keep
This
the relationship
isn't going to be exciting. This is going to be fun.
already.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit back and just be like, fuck yeah.
You feel good.
Yeah,
You feel
I
good.
feel
Like you get
amped.
that little you get that bolt.
That
You know
adrenaline bump?
that adrenaline bump because for some reason Gray's on board 100%.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's our night.
Let's do this.
People have shuffled spells. People have potions.
Shuffle.
We have cloaks that are now attuned to us.
I need 2 times.
I don't know if it needs to be attuned. I think it does. Double
it's a
check.
Spell is what it's showing up.
It's showing up as like an item or anything like that. Okay, cool. One more thing.
No, I was just Earl Grey. All of the things Dormouse told me.
Got
Let's do it.
it. Next day is spent with Day is not there for a portion of the morning or like lunchtime, lunch, and then Grim isn't there, and everybody sort of does their things about the house. The Dormouse sort of busies himself in the library. To you guys, he sort of doesn't even ask for free reign of the house. Just sort of walks around to different rooms and studies the grounds and things like
Don't
that.
touch the mouse. The mouse can do what it wishes.
Yeah. But he spends a good portion of the day with Dull. I think you sleep in. I think you have
no idea.
a bed, the shower, all the sort of basic amenities of after traveling around and being locked in a cell for a long period of time.
I'm gonna read. I'm gonna pull out James's guide to the hat
Okay.
and just
Give me an
read
animal
through
handling
it.
check. At advantage.
Well, thank you for that. 10.
Yeah, you spend some time. With the hat. It's kind of cool. Dull. At one point, you sort of go outside and you see Mandrake, who sort of throws the hat, and the hat hits something and then it flies back to his head. And at one point, he throws the hat and it hits something and then it smacks him in the nose and his nose starts bleeding. And then the hat just starts running around in a circle around him, and Mandrake's nose is bleeding. He's trying to grab that hat, and you just kind of sit there for a while and sort of watch this whole scene.
So you're still sleeping?
Not at this
No.
point. I'm
Not at this
watching.
point. You're up.
She was early in the morning.
Because I would have tried to go and see her once I got back and she was awake.
Okay.
Day would have done a tiny bit of shopping the night before.
Okay.
And are you in your room? Where are you?
I'm outside watching this doofus.
Yeah, you come back to the house, I think after a spell, and you see Mandrake's got a bloody nose and the hat is sort of running around him. He's trying to grab it, and Dull just thinks this is the coolest thing in the entire world.
Dull. Can I borrow you for a moment?
Where's Borrow?
Can I have some of your time with you there?
I guess so.
Come with me.
Okay.
And she'll take her to a quiet place, maybe her room or Day's room.
Give me a perception check.
Ooh, no.
Do I need to?
12.
Cool.
Dormouse is coming with me. I can feel it.
Great job. You are in the woods.
Cool. Awesome. I don't know about you, but in my time in the keep, there were certain things we weren't allowed to do. And being at the level of hierarchy that I was, I still felt this was something I should have had, but never was allowed to for whatever reason. I found a tart.
What?
A gooseberry tart.
What is that?
She'll pull out this little tart with like a almost looks like a cherry filling, like red, and be like, "Do you want to split it with me?"
What do you do with it?
This was one of the queen's delicacies, and she absolutely loved them, and I never knew why. And I saw it last night in the window, and I thought maybe it's something you might like to try. I've always kind of wanted one, and well, who better to share it with than somebody who came from where I did?
Yeah, okay.
So she'll like break it in half and give her.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
That one. That sounds about
Do
one.
I need to do one too?
Yeah. It is a really sweet gesture. It's really great. The smell brings you right back to fighting in that room and watching the queen eat these. But you muscle through because it's a very sweet gesture.
Would she see you like she would see her getting uncomfortable?
She does. Adult does not hide anything.
If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. It was something I've never gotten to do, and you can throw it on the ground if you want, if that's what'll make you happy.
Sorry.
She'll take it back and just throw it in the woods.
Right. But the sentiment is very sweet, and you know, give me another perception check as you walk back to the house.
23.
You look and see a little mouse off in the brush, you know, and you're like, that's weird. And you kind of look up at a tree, and you see like 70 mice in the
Oh my gosh! It's
in the
almost...
tree. As you're like, hey, Dull, isn't that? And like Dull standing at a tree, and like just think of like behind her, like there are 70 mice that are just like looking after their baby. Like, just in case you have ulterior motives or something like that. Like,
It's almost like she called them. 'Cause that's weird.
Doll's still nearby, right? Doll?
no, she's off in the woods with.
Off in the
with
woods.
her. They start walking back.
Okay. When they pass me, I want to call Doll over.
Okay, Dull, you get motioned over.
Hi.
Hi.
What's that? Hey, that hat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good earlier. Yeah,
It got you.
it was a lot of fun.
Ah.
The hat starts like, no.
Doll, I was wondering, while we're on the ship, would you like to play a game?
No, I haven't played it before.
Well, two people do the same thing, and you see which of them can do it better. Oops.
Oh God. Okay.
And then at the end, whoever does it better gets a prize.
Okay. What do you have to do?
Well, I thought we could see who could pick up the most gold while they're inside.
No,
Why not? It's a game.
it's not mine, and it's not yours.
I don't see why that matters.
No, and I walk off.
Ooh.
Better play with somebody else.
You go back inside, and Mother is sweeping the porch, and as everyone sort of walks inside, Mother sort of turns over her shoulder. She says, maybe you should make more rogue friends, dear, and continues to speak. So here's how we're going to do this. As everybody makes their final preparations, I am starting a timer on my phone, and that is going to represent that the hour that this ship is in the dock in real time.
Oh no.
So we are going to be cooking. If that ship takes off, things are going to be bad.
Get worse.
Starting in 3.
Real quick, how long? How fast can my hat move?
Very fast.
Very fast. Okay.
3, 2, 1. You take the portal, and you are in front of the ship itself. You are all sort of standing there. What are the plans as you make your way on board the
The
ship?
first thing I would like to do is for all of us to stand off to the side. I want to relay to them, I have the ability to jump inside of my hat and see what it sees. Perhaps a little recon.
Why wasn't this in the town hall last night?
I didn't think.
Someone's wearing the hat.
No,
No one has to wear it.
So
I
you're just gonna
throw
throw
it.
You're just gonna throw the hat, and then like it's gonna land on the ground, and then you're just gonna look around.
We are both aware that my hat has a mind of its own and the ability to fly
Okay,
as
fine.
far
Throw
as
your
what.
hat on the ship.
Could anyone help me with a disguise of some sort? Maybe cloak my hat in some way.
Is it gonna take anything?
I
It
can
will
disguise
not
myself. I can't
take
disguise you.
anything.
So you want to disguise the hat as a...
Wouldn't it be better if we knew what we're walking into?
that doesn't answer my question.
You hear this sigh, and all of a sudden there is a large bird on top of your head.
Oh, never mind. That works out fine.
It promptly shits all over your head. And flies off. towards-
Okay, so I cast on the brim. And what?
Now that it's a bird, maybe we could be birds together, and your hat and I could fly up there, and then I could like cast water walk on you guys, and you could walk across the water over to the boat.
You can see the bird still. You've got about
Okay.
5 more seconds.
You guys
Sure,
wanna do that?
go!
I cast water walk on all of them,
3.
and I turn
everybody-
into a bird.
Okay, you guys all have the spell Water Walk cast on you. It allows you to run through water. No, it allows you to walk on water. So, like, you have Water Walk on
So
you.
with this motion, she's gonna grab onto him and she's gonna gesture to everyone, let's go, let's go. I've made it so that you can all walk by.
It lasts for an hour, just so you know.
You fly off the hat, you cast the brim.
Right, which means my body stays exactly where
Oh
it
crap!
is.
No, I'm wrong. I am not high enough level to fly. That does
Okay.
not work. I forgot.
She goes, I'll transform into a bird. And a penguin is standing there on the beach.
As
Great.
well as
That's
my
fair.
penguin
That's
companion.
Okay, so bird me is just flying in the air right now. I'm going to fly over the ship, kind of get a general lay of the land, try to fly into one of the doors, and then out the other side, just to kind of get a general lay of the land that I can relay to them.
You stand on the shore as this group sort of makes their way across. So here's how we're going to handle this. You guys,
At least being a really adorable penguin.
it is super adorable, and I think there's a little like bit of rope that she ties around you. And so now it's
It's my penguin companion.
her service penguin.
True.
I'm your comfort penguin.
Yes.
Dole's real nervous because everybody's walking. She thinks she's gonna sink because she's never swam before.
Well, you're actually walking. I believe Day is walking towards like the gangplank.
Yeah,
right?
you're
Like
trying to,
the
like,
ship
separate
is
it.
docked.
Yeah, we're both
They're
at the
not
front
walking
door,
on
I'm
water.
assuming.
Yeah, they're not walking on water yet. This is in case of emergency.
Oh,
This walk
got it.
on water will last
Okay, I got
the
Yeah,
entire
the full
night.
hour.
Yep,
Okay.
she's gesturing everyone to the front door as she possibly can with all the satchels wrapped.
Standing there is a very, very short, even for short, it's a gnomish man, but he is flanked on either side, almost along the side of him, as people sort of come through and he smiles and makes small talk with them. Yes, hello, how are
Mother
you?"
gnome.
And then there are 8 automatons on the left and 8 automatons on the right that just sort of watch as people walk by. And he goes, "Yes, welcome, welcome. Are you here for business or pleasure?"
Oh, sweetie. Pleasure every time. But we do have to do business along the way, I suppose.
Have you changed clothes, Nix?
Me?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have.
He eyes Nix, and then he looks over at Dull. Ma'am, are you sure you have the right place?
I'm sorry.
Police.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Are you mocking my group? My security is the best in this place. Do you not see her? 8 foot tall, could take your tiny little gnomey ass everywhere if it needed to. This one right here? Don't even get me started on this one. The blue hair? Who just has blue hair? This is a phenomenon. This is wonderful. This is a thing of beauty. You're really going to make fun of this?
Give me an intimidation check at advantage here as you start to bluff your way onto this.
I can assist.
Oh, you can?
She already has it at advantage. I
Oh,
will
it's
lower.
advantage.
I will lower the DC. How does Dull help out here?
By being 8 foot
Dull cracks her knuckles while this happens, and it's one of those like cracks that reverberates and echoes.
You said intimidation?
Intimidation.
21.
He sort of looks over at you, and he still looks a little snarky, and then turns back to Dull, and one of her fingers is almost the size of this gnome. My apologies, ma'am. No, I wouldn't presume to think such a thing. Please, right this way. Welcome to the bank.
And now I'm riled up. Somebody get me a drink, please.
You walk on board this ship, and it is, you walk up this small plane. You all see this, and we'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
You all see this amazing, it's almost as if you stepped into the Palace of Versailles. Everything is gold and like silver. Like it is one of the nicest things, but almost to a fault. Like there is nothing fun about this. This is all like polished. People there are eccentric, but you are the most eccentric looking group there. You do see some other half-orcs out and about, but they seem to be in sort of security detail, and they are for the most part scarred, beat to hell, like almost similar to you, but none of them make eye contact with you as you walk on. Everyone's sort of like keeping about their business and enjoying drinks in the small foyer.
Do I recognize any of them?
You do.
Yeah.
There's one off with a group. It's with this sort of older human-looking woman, and she's sort of gesturing wildly and telling this sort of exuberant story. She looks a little blitzed. She's got like long white hair, and she's wearing this beautiful sort of silver ball gown. And as she gestures outward, she smacks him as hard as she can. But to his size, it doesn't really register a lot. As she smacks him, he pulls a small napkin that is dwarfed in his hand and sort of like presses it against her mouth a little bit and cleans up some of the spit and sort of drops his head.
Okay.
But you recognize him. You fought him several times. You guys may have shared a cell and told stories about what you do once you got out.
Okay.
His name is Lokarth.
So now that we're in, it's probably a good idea to start looking for exits if necessary.
You are. Let's shift back to you as the hat sort of flies around. Where are you directing this? So you've got the upper deck where you know that the hotel. There's windows and sort of ports about. Mm-hmm. You see these automatons sort of patrolling the deck, and it's not uncommon to see a bird sort of flying about. So where are you bringing the hat?
I want to see as much of the above ground as I can in 30 seconds. Because it lasts a minute, right?
Yeah.
So I want to see as much of the above ground as I can, try to figure out the best way to get down upstairs, and then dive down close to the side of the boat. Can hat turn into anything else? Can it dive underwater?
You don't know.
I don't know.
You know the hat can move, and some of its abilities are still. So you could certainly try.
Yeah, I will. After I've seen as much as I can on the top, try to figure out a way to get downstairs. I want to at least survey the lower area.
Give me a perception check at advantage as the hat sort of flies around the space, sort of surveying things, and you're looking for any sort of passage through.
I have a 25.
So the hat's sort of flying around, and you're having trouble finding anything because you're surveying the outside of the boat. Mm-hmm. You realize that a lot of these entrances are going to be inside. They're going to be staircases and things of that sort, and that's when you spot it. You don't know whether it happened fairly recently or what was happening, but there's one of those like sort of cleaning things where you sort of like stand on the edge and sort of lower it down, and you see a maintenance hatch on the right-hand side of the boat with a door leading out. They get on this thing, you lower ropes, and it lowers you down to the bottom floor. But it's all on the outside of the boat. And it just happens to be in a place where there's not a lot of guards walking about. You spend a little bit of time there. As you do that, the boat starts to take off a little bit. As you recall the hat back to you, you feel the hat tug and sort of fly over to that spot and just stay there.
Okay.
It's give me an insight.
15.
It's asking for permission to stay.
I grant.
You-
I nod
Okay.
and give the hat permission to stay there in the guise of the bird, if possible.
It doesn't. You feel your sight return, but you feel it turn into the hat, and it tells you to sit.
So I stay. I sit.
You sit.
Yeah.
As you sit down on the ground, you go, "Oh my God, the hat just told me to sit."
Yeah.
You sit down on the ground, and as you do, you sit and you go to do that thing where you sort of squat down on the ground and sit backwards. And as you do, your butt goes to sit, but you keep falling and falling and falling until you are out of the hat on top of this thing.
Nice.
You see a little mouse on the shoreline as you sort of flop out, and you realize that, maybe this is one of the things.
I'm gonna tip my hat at the mouse.
You tip your hat as the boat takes off.
Okay.
You have learned the tip of the hat ability. We'll talk more about that later. All right, let's go back to inside the building. It is sort of like an affluent space. You're noticing that there's a bunch of people that the boat is moving, but it's moving along the shore. It's almost like it's making several stops before it kind of goes out into the ocean, and you realize that time has started. And you are seeing a long line of people that are lined up to get tables. So
They're lined up to get tables?
In the restaurant area. You remember the dormouse said
Souffle.
you sit down, you
Right.
order the souffle, but right now there's a long, long line. So what are you guys doing in order to get past this area?
I want to walk up to it would be maitre d', the host, or whomever is at the front counter.
Yeah.
But I want to present Day as like a very affluent, very
That was completely different from my idea, so let's see how that goes.
Can I hear what you say?
My good people far and wide, make way, for this fine maiden here is not only just a lady in our company, but one of the most interesting, magnificent, and brilliant persons of our generation. Make way. Just try to make myself through the crowd.
For who?
You don't know her.
No.
Okay.
Silly boy. Nina Tolstoy at your service.
Oh.
The caterpillar and me, we're close.
Okay, so I can, with you can talk with birds with the magical amulet. I can talk.
You
I can speak. However, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try penguin talk, but that sounds like, you know how birds can talk like. So I'm gonna be like Nina, like penguin, like this is part of the show.
Give me a performance check.
Ooh, I can assist.
Do I need a performance?
So she's screaming Nina. She's
Proficient, so at advantage.
Give me a performance check. The two of you at advantage as Dull starts walking around and gathering a crowd, almost like showboating. No.
And I was
You're
showing off.
gathering, and the penguin is showing off. So both of you give me performance at advantage.
7.
19.
Okay.
Try to do the easy way.
People aren't really paying attention to you at this point, but as she's holding the leash for the penguin and the large barbarian is like, everybody step up. The line sort of parts a little bit, and people get a little intimidated, and you are able to walk your way right up to the. I forgot you were. God, this is gonna change the whole thing.
Thank you.
That background.
You're all so sweet. Thank you so much.
God damn it!
people very scared.
She's just gonna reach up and she can't reach her face, but she'll be like, "Thank you, darling."
You are hurriedly rushed to a table and sat down and sort of skipping the line and bypassing all of that.
I'm getting up in a chair too.
The penguin's getting.
Yes.
The penguin, of course, the penguin gets that chair.
Of course, dear.
Do you need a booster, dear? Perfect.
I think you're drawing quite a crowd at that talking penguin baby.
I'm gonna stand right behind Dave.
I was also gonna do that.
I got you, bro.
I'm gonna
I'll stand
kind
next
of
to you.
drift into the crowd, try and disappear from them.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on them.
Give me a stealth check as you disappear into the crowd.
Okay. That's on the corner. I'm gonna roll that.
This is, dude. I'll tell you what,
No,
dude.
never mind.
Make this an advantage because this is ain't nobody paying attention to
Okay.
the skinny guy as the penguin sits in a chair.
9.
9. Yeah, you feel like you sort of like drift off into the crowd, but like everybody's kind of like, "Do you want a booster seat, dear?" You know, like I don't know the large. Daddy, I want a penguin. So,
2 penguins, Daddy.
Try to take it, I dare you.
let's go back to Mandrake. Mandrake, what are you doing?
I'm going to. Where am I standing exactly? Like
You are on the side of the ship as you are standing in sort of like one of those like window cleaner.
Yeah, on the
scaffolding
trolley?
things. You're on the little trolley.
okay. I want to take a look around and see if I see any guards nearby watching. I know you said it wasn't as
Give me a
well guarded.
perception check.
Man, my dice are not getting along tonight.
No, it's okay. Just own it. They'll come back. There we go.
11.
Okay. It takes a while to wake up.
Yeah.
So you look around and you think you're starting to understand the movements of the guards.
Okay.
You're taking some time. You can do this now, where you can move it and lower it to the second. It's a little above the second floor. You can lower it to the second floor door, but you're still not sure if this would help. You could take a little bit more time if you wanted to study guard movements.
I'm going to take a little more time to study the guard movement and kind of duck into the nearest shadow as best I can.
Okay, give me an investigation check then at advantage as you take your time and don't really like necessarily jump into it. It's all right.
12.
Baby. It's difficult. It's hard. Maybe some of that wind is starting to pick up a little bit, and you don't know exactly where the lights are coming from. There's unnatural lights that seem to glisten about the area and glow about the ship and sort of move, these little floating orbs that almost seem to surround the entire ship. But you get a good idea of it, and you lower it down to the second floor door.
Okay.
At a time where you don't think there are any guards about in the area. What are you doing?
I'm at the door on the second level, right?
Yep.
I want to check the door for any traps.
You jiggle the knob a little bit, or actually no, give me an investigation as you check the traps.
12.
No, door's free and clear.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and open the door
Okay.
And-
You open the door.
and check inside, and then go inside.
Okay. You open the door. As you open the door, you see that you're in what appears to be like a servant's quarters, almost like a service hallway.
Okay.
Off to the side, and you see people sort of rushing about you, not really giving you any sort of time of day. I need to know something very important. What are you wearing?
I'm going to pay attention to what they're wearing, the servants,
Okay.
and I am going to cast Disguise Self to look like one of the servants.
Okay. It is. You sort of peek your head in. You sort of come back out. You change your clothing. Do you change how your hat looks?
Yes, I'm going to turn my hat into one of the one of the servant hats.
Cool. Yeah. So you have the same facial features, but you are disguised to look like one of the servants, and you make your way into the service hallway. Sort of join about as people sort of gathering trays and taking trays of drinks and sort of appetizers and serving tables. All right. Let's head back out to the table.
How long has it been since we sat down? Or since she sat down?
5 minutes.
I clap as loud as I possibly can. It has been 5 minutes since Miss Floyd has sat down, and we have not had our waiter come to our table. She's angry.
I'm angry. She'll literally, in the most nonchalant way, I am angry.
Mandrake is going to run over, like, bumping into things, like...
The penguin's gonna look very sad.
And I'm going to... I'm going to bow and say, I'm so sorry, Miss Tolstoy. What can I bring you?
Oh, sit. Sit. She'll cast message, sit, you're not the waiter.
I will move out of the way and sit down.
You realize that he's wearing the same uniform as the waiters, and now it looks like a waiter is sitting at the table with you all wearing a hat.
Oh,
So does another waiter come up?
I don't. Right now, the waiters. No. Right now, the waiters are freaked out by the screaming barbarian that's like, it's been 5 minutes! And they just saw one go forward, and then they were like, well, he's dead now. Like, goodbye. And so no one is currently running over at the moment.
Okay.
I'm going to address again and say, what can I get you, Miss Tolstoy? Thank you so much for allowing me to sit at your table.
As sweet as you are, I think I deserve a new waiter. Going to be on time. I need somebody who knows how to do their job, and you appreciate this one for his bravery. But please, somebody get me somebody here with some experience.
Oh, please don't take me down to the dungeon for my lateness.
There is a snap, and an elf is standing at the table. He was not there a second ago. He is standing there. He has long black hair that is braided at his sides. He is wearing a black suit, but there is no shirt underneath. It is just the black suit jacket and black suit pants, and he is barefoot. His hands are curved backwards, like this, and he sort of looks at the table and smiles.
Hello. Oh, well, you're cute. Not as cute as the waiter. I'm going to keep him around. However, I've been waiting just a little bit while, and we're starting to get very hungry.
Tolstoy.
Tolstoy. Does he look familiar?
What would you like, Miss Tolstoy?
It's a very interesting menu, but I think I'm going to have the souffle.
The souffle.
The souffle.
Who will be eating the souffle?
Well, that's an interesting question. Might we all share it? Is it not big enough?
Deception check.
Just a regular one?
Yep.
Can I go?
Hang on. Don't tell me what you rolled. What are you doing?
So I was gonna say, like, if I get a +5 in deception,
When you are channeling
when I'm
Gray.
channeling Gray. I was gonna see if I could assist her in the deception.
Are you channeling Gray?
I would like to, if it helps her in the deception check.
You go. What are you saying?
Oh, shit.
What do you say to Gray?
I think we might need a little help here getting past.
I think you're right. This guy's an asshole. Assholes react to bigger assholes. So go for broke here, and I can assist.
Then I am going to
Get the hell out of your seat. Be an asshole.
So I'm just gonna stand up and just grab the guy with the collar and be like, "Excuse me, the lady asked for the souffle."
The room gets cold, and not by emotionally. I mean physically cold, as little bits of ice crystals start forming over the glasses that are at the table. I need you to go ahead and make that check. Give me a +5 and make it at advantage.
God, I hear this. 9 + 5. It's gonna be.
Is it +5 and what he has here, or is it just
No, it's what he has there +5.
Oh, it's okay. So then 9.
It's an extra +5.
intimidation? So you have.
Intimidation. So that'd be 9 is 13 + 5, 17.
18.
Numbers. Am I right?
You grab him and hold on to him, and there's this your eyes flash blue. And for all of you, this is the first time you're seeing it. His eyes go up crystalline blue, and those claws start coming out just a little bit, but it's not the big claw big black ones. It's these white, silver And as you do that, he sort of looks at you, and there's this moment where your eyes sort of lock for a little bit. Gets a little cold, and then he inhales. So he doesn't move. The only thing you see is his nostrils flare a little bit as the cold recedes from the room. Normally, it is 2 people, not all people. This is why I ask, who will be having the souffle?
This is very fair. I understand we are a large crowd. To be quite honest with you, I'll probably only have a bite. I'm watching my figure. 2 souffles, everybody? Are we good with that? 2 souffles?
Whatever you want.
If I get a souffle for the table, will you have some souffle? I know you'll have some souffle. 2 souffles.
Make another persuasion check at disadvantage.
I'm still holding on to him.
You are still holding on to him.
Cool.
Oh. 14.
Of course. Right this way to the tasting room. And he looks and goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ma'am, I appreciate your invitation. I do.
As he goes like this, the disguise falls. So, 4.
I will be joining you.
Yes? To the tasting room.
The tasting room?
Wait, only 4?
5 with the penguin, dear. But this is an emotional support penguin, so they technically can't keep it out of anywhere from me. I have papers. Just kidding. I don't have any papers. I left them in home.
Do you have bags?
Bags. She'll start unlashing them.
He will whistle, and as he does, one of the lighting fixtures off to the side curls in upon itself, retracting its arms and forming into that of a large mechanical man. Another lighting fixture on the other side of your table unfurls its arms, closing the lighting fixture, and walks over to the side of the table. They very quickly take the bags in hand, and he smiles, turns, and begins walking towards a door at the back of the restaurant.
So you'll be safe with them?
You are not coming?
Perfect. Then we're on our way. Let's go.
And you head towards these 2 double doors at the back of the restaurant. As you walk towards the 2 double doors at the back of the restaurant, the crowd of people look up at you for a brief second and then look over at the automatons carrying bags, and they all sort of nod and continue about their business. You get to 2 double doors in this room. As you get to the 2 double doors, there is what looks to be sort of letters traced about the door. It looks to be in different sort of languages, arcane runes. He touches them in a sequence of 7 or 8, and as he does, there is an unlocking sound. The doors unlock, and you make your way into a very large room. In the center of this room is a simple wooden oak chest, which seems out of place in the gold and silver sort of furnishings of the bank. This chest is the only object in this room, with the exception of the 10 sort of robots, automatons that are circling about this chest in sort of a half square, square missing one of the edges, open square, with the doors being the open end of the square.
Can she, as they're walking, perceive the knobs? Are they knobs, or are they they pull open?
Nix, you watch as the group makes its way towards these 2 double doors. Okay. The doors swing inward.
Okay, so they don't have.
There are no knobs on
Okay.
these doors. Once the last arcane symbol is touched, the doors swing inward.
Mandrake would make a mental note of the arcane symbols he pressed in what order.
Sure, give me an intelligence check. I would say you're used to memorizing patterns. Go ahead and make this at advantage. How long does wild shape last?
For me, it lasts, what I said, like 2 hours.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
12.
Yeah, you think you have it
Okay.
without pulling out a piece of paper and being like, "Oh yeah, I think what was the third one you did?" You know, red, yellow, green, red, blue, 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 red, orange, and red. So you start looking around. So you are in this room. The man sort of turns about face once he gets to the chest and says, "If you would please put your hands on the chest.
On the chest.
You all are having souffle. You all will put your hands on the chest." Are you disguised? Or you just look like that?
She looks like Day, but as like how Nina was, where like she had her hair down instead of pinned up, how she usually would at the
Cool,
castle.
got it.
And like it's down,
Nothing.
it's flowing.
Nothing happens. Your clothes revert back to their sort of white, plain-looking clothes. Nothing happens with you. You just sort of smile, like winning this game. Nothing happens to you. Thoe, you are out of wild shape and standing
Oh, you
there.
made me touch it even though I'm an animal? Okay.
Are you not going to?
I wasn't planning to go up to touch it because I'm just a little penguin. Why would I touch the chest?
Penguins can't have souffle. It's deadly. Too much sweets.
He didn't attempt to see if the penguin could understand.
That's why I thought you asked me how long my wild shape
Okay.
lasted for.
Okay. He sort of looks over at the penguin and. Okay. He smiles.
That's my dad.
He smiles at all of you, and the chest opens. As the chest opens, there is nothing inside of it but a set of stairs leading downward.
Stairs.
After you.
He disappears.
After us, then.
I'm gonna look to Doll. To Doll.
Would you mind? You are the largest.
Gotcha!
Dull, head forward.
Yep.
Dull walks down these steps. You see this long sort of stone hallway.
Is it dark?
As you move down the steps, no, it's lit from some sources. You don't know if it's where this light is coming from, but it seems like the walls and the floor maybe even radiate this light. As you come down the stairs, you see a stone hallway, sort of a wide stone hallway. You can barely sort of fit in with your size and stuff like that. You make your way, and at the end of it is a large sort of metal door. You see as the gentleman that you met earlier nods at you all, walks towards the metal door, opens it, steps inside, and closes the door behind him, motioning you forward as he does.
Oh, to go in.
Yeah. So Dull walks down the steps.
I'll follow.
Follow.
Same.
Follow. 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 The chest closed behind you, and it seems to, as it closes, there is no opening, there is no chest, there is just stone ceiling. We get to the stone door. We get to the metal door, and it is locked.
Okay, is the guy still with us?
No.
Or it's just us now. Okay. So and
It's
we're the
cauldron
only
time.
we're the only people down here?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, do I have to like somehow look for a penguin wild shape perception?
24.
16.
20, not mad.
I did not plan to turn into a penguin. You did this.
You notice the grooves in the floor, and you don't know what they're for. You sort of like you're in this hallway, and Dill's like, "Hey, this door's locked." And as you look down, you realize that the grooves look like they are for something to come like forward, and that's when you hear and the walls start moving in.
Oh shit.
And
Okay, drop the politics.
there's just a door in front of us.
There is a large
I'm gonna
metal.
smash the shit out of it.
Mandrake pulls out his lock-picking tools, and Dull's like, got it!
No!
Dull, roll to attack. Would you like to do anything first before you do this?
Oh, okay, I would like to wait.
Yeah, Dull rages up. As Dull does, the veins on her muscles are already like sort of large, get even larger in this space, and you feel this heat radiating out from her as something in Dull, the kind-hearted person that you know, unlocks, and that rage comes out fierce and strong and powerful. And she starts pounding on this door, and you're like, baby, are you single?
You taller than me? It's alright.
What's up, girl?
This is why I'm
Give me Bob.
Oh,
Got a
God.
chance. All right. So roll some attacks for me, Dull, as you start pounding on this door.
That's gonna be
Are you
cool.
using a weapon, or are we doing fists here?
Oh, I didn't even. Okay, hold on. I thought I was gonna use the door thing.
Yeah, but that's with an attack,
With
with a
an attack,
weapon.
with whatever
like
I
if you
feel?
want to pull out like a
Oh,
weapon,
balls,
and
I
start
was not
fighting
prepared.
You said all the light is emanating from the
The
stones on the floor
in the walls.
and the walls.
Is there a pattern of how the light's coming through the floor?
Give me a perception check.
So
Actually,
that's
this would be
gonna be.
investigation.
No, that's a nat 20, so.
You start looking, and you start looking for any sort of pattern that you can find on the lights, on the floor, and on the walls, and you can't really see anything. But with the nat 20, I will say that you look back around to the way that you kind of came in, and you do see sort of faint arcane sigils carved into the steps leading up into the brick wall. Like it's the steps themselves or something, but that's the only thing that you can see sort of lit up in this space.
I want to take a look at the arcane sigils, see if they match the ones on the door.
Okay, while you're doing that investigation, are you attacking the door?
Yes, 26 to hit.
26 hits.
Okay.
Roll triple damage as
Okay.
your rage.
I'm
for
using
this.
my warm ammo.
You're using a warhammer.
Yes, I am.
Dull takes out this warhammer. It is this large metal staff, and on the end of it, it is a regular door handle, but there is a door knocker that just slightly swings on the end of this door hammer. It looks like it was fashioned together with duct tape and hope. But she
Oh, fuck.
she takes this warhammer back and swings it down hard on the door itself. As that's happening, give me a perception check, big guy. As you start, Nix, they've been gone. They were walked through this area.
Nat 20.
You hear pounding, and the people in the restaurant aren't really paying attention to it, but you are close enough to this door that you hear boom. What is the damage to this door?
75 points of damage.
This large metal door.
That's
This
fine.
large metal door, she goes, she hits it so hard that everybody's blown back a little bit by this sort of blast, and she goes, sorry, and this door bends inward. It's still on the hinges just barely. While that's happening, give me an investigation check, as you are studying the stairs.
Oh no, I already did that. It was a nat 1. I saw that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna test my luck and point towards where the sound's coming from and try and pass a message to Dole, because I know she's there.
Okay, what do you say to Dull?
This is Nix. How are you guys doing down there?
I just broke the shit out of a door, my dude.
Do you say that out loud or do you send it back to him?
I said it straight out loud.
Showcast
Also-
message. She broke the shit out of
But
a
you
door
don't-
by two.
You send it, and you don't know where. He sort of pointed in a direction where you think. And I'll say by sheer, you're not getting another one. By sheer dumb luck, you seem to point in the direction that full on McGonagall, sheer dumb luck. You managed to get to her, but you're not getting another one. Okay. But as she hits this door hard enough, there is a brief sort of click, and the door in front of you with the arcane sigils opens. That they walked through.
I also like to point out that was only one-handed.
Are you making another attack?
Why the hell
It's
not?
getting tight in there, guys. The walls start creeping in slower and slower and slower.
The door's open
make
there
it
now,
clear.
No,
right?
it is not. It is still on the
That's the
hinges. It
outside
is
door.
bowed in, but it is still on the hinges.
I will do it again.
I'm gonna take
Roll.
I'm gonna take some ball bearings.
Okay.
So one pound of ball bearings.
Okay.
And throw them at the walls
Okay.
to try to jam underneath a little bit.
It's an interesting play. Okay, guys, here's the deal. Mandrake reaches into his pockets and he pulls out his little like Batman utility belt, pulls out a whole bunch of ball bearings and throws them at the wall. A couple of them, you hear this like creaking sound as you think one or two or three might have gotten in the way of the jamming mechanism. However, what this is going to do is this is going to make the entire hallway difficult terrain. Your movement speed is halved when it comes to traversing this hallway, okay? So, but I will say that the walls have slowed their moving inward.
22 to hit.
22 to hit, roll damage. As Dull winds up again and takes another smack at this door.
Fuck you, door. You're going fucking down. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, it's fucking toes.
After the first hit, the hammer is glowing a little bit with this sort of like blue, sort of like divine energy. How much is it for this one?
72 points.
72 points. The hammer once again comes down on this door.
Oh, wait. Nope, that's wrong. Excuse me, 76 points.
76 points. With this last hit and the wall slowly creeping in towards you, this door flies off and goes launching down the hallway. He fails his dex save. This sort of person that you saw before is slammed by this door.
Nice.
I'll say he's going to take all 76 points of damage. And is knocked prone to the ground as this gentleman. You all will have a surprise round should you choose to do anything. You come into this space that is a room with, I want to say, like 2 long hallways that sort of go down and doors with numbers on them all down these hallways, and there's a pedestal in the middle of this room. So think doors lining these 2 long hallways that seem to span the bottom deck of the ship, and a pedestal with a booklet in it listing numbers and looks like a manifesto. But there's also a gentleman that is now being crushed by a door if anyone wants to do anything with their move.
I want to go and stabilize him.
He is very much alive and conscious.
Oh, okay. Does somebody want to tie him up or something?
I'm just gonna grab him by the chest, just by his lapel,
Okay?
and we're looking for a knocker. And I'm assuming that you're the man that knows where it is.
While he does that, can I
Door
run over
knob,
to the book and
sorry.
start looking through the book? Because I'm good with books.
Sure.
That's my thing.
The
Sure.
penguin's looking through the book?
No, I'm a human now.
she
Oh,
jumped
you
out.
okay.
She
I was
jumped
just
out.
around.
I was just double checking.
No.
I wasn't sure.
He,
I would have been like, that's cute.
a little bit of blood falls to the wayside, like out of his mouth. It like dribbles out of his mouth, and he reaches up and looks at it, and he smacks it on your face.
Oh.
Give me a Constitution saving throw, Grim.
That is going to be 13.
Okay. That
Am I technically not raging anymore?
you are still raging because you've been attacking this whole time, so you are still raging.
Okay. Because I will fuck his shit up.
Oh no. Oh, there's not a chance, honey. You're going down.
No, it could be default.
Those are 4s. Oh, they're 8s. It sounded like 4s.
Oh.
Never mind.
8d8, in fact.
Oh.
Tracy knows what this spell is. Necrotic energy.
Oh my gosh.
Necrotic energy washes out from this elf, and it sort of surrounds Grim and starts flowing over him as you take 32 points of necrotic damage
Fucking bring it up.
that eat away at you. As it does, you hear Gray scream inside you, but it is not the same scream that you're used to hearing as the wolf sort of takes damage and sort of rages out. Gray is screaming, and that scream turns into a laugh.
Oh, it's on the deck.
So that was his move as you sort of rush forward. Is anybody else doing anything with their move before we roll initiative?
With our sneak attack?
With your sneak attack.
Well, now that he's done that, she is going to go at him with
Nix, that area, that door is open, and there is a chest in that room. Should you choose to go to it?
Okay.
5d6, level 3rd, Dismal Whispers.
Moswald wants to bend luck towards Grim.
So
300 bits.
Yay
Bend luck.
or nay?
Save Grim. He wants to bend luck in Grim's favor.
Okay, I can do. Yes, and. Well done, Moswald. All right, thank you, Moswald, for purchasing bits to bend luck. I got a way to do this, and I think you're going to be really happy about it, buddy. What is the save on Dissonant Whispers?
It's going to be a wisdom of 14.
A wisdom save of 14.
Yeah.
Okay, he makes his save.
Oh.
What happens? Does he take half damage on the Dissonant Whispers on that?
The speed of obviously dangerous when he has this way. He's supposed to fail. On a failed save, it takes immediately as a reaction. Fail was
Okay, so
does it?
read through it and then get me the details, okay? Nix, what are you doing?
do I see anyone like guarding now in the open door or
Nope.
no? I'm gonna cast invisibility in a discreet location, so I'm not like disappearing in the middle of nowhere. And
I'll
then
say
head on in.
I'll say that's your action as you make your way towards the chest. Mandrake, what are you doing?
I am going to.
Quick.
I'm gonna throw my hat
Okay.
and cast. How close is Grim? He's still like touching him, right?
He's still touching you.
Then I'm just gonna throw my hat.
Okay. Give me an attack roll. Take this. Get sneak attack if you hit. So
Okay.
let me know what you get.
Is this second round?
This is
I got a nat 20.
8.
There she is.
Woo!
Welcome back to the game, baby.
I
That
know,
is
right?
double damage on a sneak attack. That is a lot of dice.
Yeah.
So roll. What are you doing with this turn? Sorry.
I am going over and looking through the book for anything that's going to give me
Give me an
clues where this
investigation
is.
check as you do this.
Hit me with one
Okay.
hammer.
Swing away, Meryl.
Nat 20!
Okay.
I love this dice tower so much.
Are you rounding up for half damage? Because you took 15, half is 7.5. Are you rounding up or are you rounding down?
I am rounding down.
Okay, so it's going to be 7.
26 to hit.
Okay.
And then he doesn't have to move away.
Okay. 7 points. So you reach out, but he just sort of snarls at you in his weakened condition.
26 to hit.
26 to hit hits. Roll damage on that one. Thoey, you were flipping through this book, and you pick up the pattern.
I'm good with books.
It's coded. It's coded, and you're trying to figure out what this is, and you're like, oh, this is dumb. This is a rudimentary like cipher. Like,
Oh my gosh.
what is this? A book for babies?
Oh.
Like, and you sort of like start reading through, and sure enough, in room 42, there is just one sort of container in that room. It is.
Guys, the answer is always 42!
You don't know what that means, but she just said it.
20.
20.
20 was what it hit, and I rolled a 15, so my hat came back to me.
Okay, what was the damage?
It was 20.
20?
Yeah.
And is that doubled because of the sneak attack? Is that double? Did you double that?
No, I did not.
Do you want to double it, or do you want to roll the dice again?
I would like to double it, please.
Okay, so Mandrake, you send the hat forward, and as it does, it sort of slices into this thing. He tries to. He doesn't think you're going to hit because the hat's flying right towards Grim, and as it flies right towards Grim, the hat sort of circles about and slices into this thing's neck. He reaches up to his hand to sort of stop the bleeding, but it does an obscenely large amount of damage to the one frickin' boss that was supposed to be in this fight. What do you do?
27 points of damage.
27 points of damage.
Bludgeoning.
Jeez.
Bitch.
So, okay. So what happens here is Dull sort of like is going to go to hit it with the hammer, and then sees the discarded door and just picks up the door, sets the door up, like smiles, and then hits the door into him again, and the door kind of smacks in. We don't normally do this. Moswald, you did this. Come over here. Give me 3 d20s.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Okay, 1, 2.
Oh, come on.
Better. Okay. So there is a sound of thunder as something comes running down this second hallway. It's a The only thing you've ever heard anything like make a noise like this before is Dull when she's running. As it does, you see somebody that's like dragging 2 jugs behind them. They look like these 2 like large casks, and inside is this sort of like glowing liquid. It is one of those automatons, but this is one of the largest automatons you've ever seen in your life. And as it comes running through the area, it sees the guy that had you, and this guy's a freaking asshole. As Bo the Warforged comes over, picks him up and goes over to a nearby porthole and just shoves him through the porthole. He goes flying off towards the water. And he's like, "Hey man, you're freaking welcome. You didn't see anything."
Saw nothing.
As Bo the Warforged runs off on his own caper and wonder, taking the 2 barrels of enchanted alcohol with him that he has stolen from the bank. You need to give that man a huge hug the next time you are able to, which is right now. Go ahead. Bo the Warforged is now officially Wonder Canon. Best 300 bits ever spent. Okay, so Thoe, you guys are demolished this dude so much.
We did it! He didn't get a
Welcome
chance.
to Wonder, Dull. You broke one of my battles.
I did it!
Thoe, at this point, Nix, you sort of come through, and as you open the chest, there is this boom as this automaton sort of comes through and say, "You with the other?"
I'm not invisible anymore.
Huh?
Am I not invisible anymore?
You are invisible.
Okay.
He still addresses you.
Okay.
He's like, "Are you with the other guys?"
I don't know what you're. I don't follow.
He's like, "There's the guys down there."
Oh, yeah. They're
Hey,
probably,
hey.
yeah.
The eyes, the Warforged eyes suddenly go back to regular lights rather than the red lens that went over them before he looked at you. And as he runs away, you are still invisible.
I'm going down.
Yeah, cool. You are in the room. You are invisible at this point, though.
Right.
Thoe has run off down a side hallway. As she's run off down this side hallway,
Guys, it's 42.
she keeps yelling 42, and you're like, "I never met 42." Like,
I'm
following.
I'm gonna start running after her and say, probably running short on time, everyone.
yeah, you know what, pal? I will say, because you are cognizant of it and paying attention, you sort of look down and pull out your pocket watch and realize you have 7 minutes and 40 seconds in order before this ship sort of sets off for parts.
I am going to cast Expeditious Retreat
On yourself?
on my. It only hits one person, right?
Yeah.
Only one. So yes, I will cast it on myself. And
So you are at the door. You are at
Okay.
42.
All right, is it locked?
It is locked.
Okay. How far behind me are they?
Mandrake has caught up with you at this point, and everybody else is sort of waving, and like Dull.
Oh, I'm faster
Ooh,
than him.
I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Dull is looking around for someone named 42 and actually runs
Wait, your thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 6.
runs past you guys looking for 42.
I'm gonna take a little trick out of somebody else's book, and I am going to attempt to shape water into this lock. And pop the lock that way.
All
so
right.
shape water allows me to freeze the water, provided there are no creatures in it. So I'm going to. Oh, yeah, I have water with me because I have an explorer's pack.
Sure.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna-
Random Encounter Productions.
So I'm gonna. Yeah, I learned this trick last night. So I'm gonna put some of my water into the lock. I'm going to freeze that, and I'm gonna attempt to pop open the lock that way.
Before, Mandrake pulled out his stools and Dull just beat the door to shit. This time, Mandrake pulls out his stools, Dull walks over with a hammer. Instead, Thoe starts pulling her canteen. Give me an Arcana check as you two start making your way down the hallway, I think, at this point.
Oh.
That was a nat 20. Okay, Wolf, this is your dice tower.
This is your dice tower. We got
Thank you.
Thoe's like, well, you know how I'm going to solve this? Science! And like pours water.
Who's she?
Thoe's like, I got to be 42 and science. Thoe pours water in the lock, and as you do, you start listening for the sound of it, and being connected to the earth and being connected to sort of nature. You've never noticed such a kinship, and like you always thought that science and this sort of like nature side of you were always in competition, but for the briefest of moments, Thoe finds the partnership between the two and finds that they're not antagonistic, they're symbiotic. And like you freeze the water at the exact moment that it enters into the lock, and you hear the tumblers click, and the door swings open, revealing a simple wooden stand and a doorknob sitting on the wooden stand with exactly 4 minutes to go. What are you guys doing?
Grabbing the doorknob.
I am going to check for traps.
Okay, give me a check for traps check.
They're not there.
It's an 8.
Well, investigation.
Yeah, does anybody who have investigation want to assist him with this?
It's actually a 15.
Okay, that'll do it.
Yeah.
There's a pressure plate. Where
Pressure
the
plate.
doorknob is on. What the doorknob is on, there is a pressure plate.
Okay, can I
The
gauge
door?
the weight of the doorknob?
You can. I will say you managed to pull out sort of some fruit or something in your bag that is the closest approximation to it. This is going to be a dexterity check.
Nat 20.
Oh!
In a scene straight out of Indiana Jones, there's a moment where you've got the fruit, the doorknob, the dice come back when you need them the most.
Right.
And right as you're about to shift it, you're like, crap, this is off. And you just take a bite and then trade it out, and as you do, it fits. He goes, I got the doorknob. What are you guys doing? There's 3 minutes left.
I have an idea. Okay, we've got water walk. I can do pass without a trace. So we will jump off the boat, run across the water, but be super stealthy.
I just want to bring something up before we
not
go.
concentration or anything, right?
No, it got cast on me.
Nix is not on the boat. He is not with you. You don't know where he is.
I just want to bring something up before we go. When we touch that chest, my enchantment dropped. That might have dropped too.
I have my cake, but I can take one person with me.
No. I can cast water walk again. I have a second spell slot.
Do you cast it?
Yes, I cast water walk.
You cast it along the space with you.
It's not help Nix.
Doll, do you think you could find Nix?
Nix sort of appears and is like, hey, guys, come here. You're like, 42! You guys go running down this hallway.
I also cast pass without a trace.
You are running down this hallway. You feel a little stealthier as you do. Make sure both of those spells aren't concentration.
They are,
in case you
one
do.
is, the other is not.
I would like to look for the porthole that he threw the bad guy out of,
Okay.
and suggest loudly that we dive through the.
I don't.
You look at this porthole and you realize that some of you are not going to fit through that porthole. Instead, you look down this hallway and you see at the long end of this hallway a door that says opening for emergencies, but that door is locked with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go. So,
I cast knock.
okay, you cast knock, and that door sort of like clinks open a little bit, and as it does, it clinks open, and there is a loud boom, 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 as that door, like the knock spell, creates a large audible sound. The monstrosities, the robots in this room suddenly awaken because of the knock spell being cast. As it does, you start making your way forward, and the door swings shut from the other side as a bloodied hand reaches up, closing the door.
I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna keep it open.
Okay,
If
give
it's
me...
hitting shut, I'm gonna. No, fuck you. I'm gonna keep it open. What?
Okay, you casting knock has not only opened this door, but it has opened every door along this hallway.
This opens out.
The doors leading to the vault rooms have now opened up as you start taking pounds against this. Is anybody doing anything with those vault rooms as Dull is pounding on this door?
Is there anything we can just see what's
There are chests, there is gold, there is jewels,
damn
there
it.
is all sorts of stuff.
Is there a jewel that's nearby that I can just shift, leap to with my boots or striding boots or whatever, and then just
Are you
leap
just
back?
grabbing something from a room and...
If there's a gem, then yes.
21 to hit.
21 to hit. Roll damage quickly.
Is that as important as getting out of here?
Do all the doors open the same direction?
Yes.
I would like to run along the wall
Can
in
I
the
get
opposite
the
direction of the
other
doors to try to close the doors as I walk across them.
Give me an acrobatics check. Is anybody grabbing anything before he closes these doors?
That is a 28.
45.
Oh,
Damn it.
God. Is there something like sticking out right there that looks like extremely precious today?
There's a book with a rose on it.
45 points of damage.
Doors. How much?
28.
28. The book is grabbed. The 28 points of damage?
48.
48. Tripled. That door is 1, 2. Boom! As it smacks open, once again, the person who was wearing the ring that gave him 1 point of health to come back from is killed again, as that same elf has managed to climb up to this wall, and the door flies open, knocking him out. The boat is moving at this point. The boat is moving. You have the book in your hand. You're keeping it on your person.
She's opening it, like, to see what kind of book it is, if it's worth.
You're opening this book. The boat is moving. Are you guys doing anything?
Do I see anything around that I can grab within reason?
No, wait,
No,
does this mean
within
Who's jumping out the
reason.
door?
Who has the doorknob? Do I have the doorknob?
He's
I
gonna
imagine I'm
doorknob.
grabbing people along the way.
Give
Like,
me the
let's go
doorknob.
out the door. Like,
Out the door, into the water.
Give Dole the doorknob. She's a follower of the mouse.
You're out.
I grab onto him and I use my cape.
You are reaching for a bag. This is going to be a contested dex save as she.
Oh, and I have advantage.
Because she is still raging. Contested dex save. Straight for you, and then twice for you.
18.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. No, that's 21.
No, you win. But I would like to take the get out of jail potion you gave me and toss it to the nearest member.
The nearest member of your party.
Yes. Because she's grabbing me and teleporting out, I'm assuming?
Yep. To the shore.
Okay. You two teleport to the water. You jumped out.
I jumped.
You jumped.
We have water walk. Can we just jump?
Yeah, just jump.
You
Okay,
jumped.
we're going.
It's
You're the last person
okay.
there.
It's solid ground. It's not like.
Yeah. You're not falling in the water because of water walk. You're actually like boom, like you're landing on the thing.
How far is it?
It's not. You're on the bottom deck of the
we're
ship,
good
so
then.
so everybody makes this fairly easily. Mandrake says, "Hey, drink this." As he is teleported away with Dull, he throws you an open potion. You were standing in front of the door with an open potion in your hand. Mandrake said, "Hey, drink this," and disappeared.
Can I jump out onto the water?
You gonna jump out before you drink it?
Crap. Y'all drink
5,
it.
4,
I'll drink it. I drink
3,
it. I drink
2.
I hope it was something good.
Time stops.
For
Completely.
me or for everyone?
For you.
For me.
You're seeing Dull like this moment of like extreme joy, and Mandrake who is just sort of like latched onto her. You see that all of them sort of jumped out onto the and time has stopped for
Okay.
you.
the shit
Then what
out
I
of
do-
place.
What I
She
do
won't.
is I cast Detect Magic
Okay.
and I focus on us as a group, on the caterpillar, on us. I'm trying to commune with the caterpillar as I detect magic for anything that's calling to me
In the
before I go.
rooms.
in the rooms, because I'm guessing all the doors closed, but maybe all of them. I don't know. I'm taking the time stop for just a moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Commune.
All right. Okay. You get something that's like 4 doors down.
Okay, I go down.
You open the door.
I
Not 3 doors down.
can.
I know you
Okay.
bastards. 4 doors down. Yeah, the door is still unlocked. Do you open it up?
I open it up.
Inside this door is a simple wooden box.
Faith, I pick it up. I don't even look at what it is.
Cool.
I just pick it up.
Let's
I go to
let's
Faith.
justify this later.
Yeah.
You pick up this little wooden box.
No, this is the caterpillar. This is the caterpillar speaking to her.
Perfect.
This is Faith.
You go running out. As you jump out, time restarts, and you manage to make your way out, and everybody lands on the water. The boat takes off, and you've done it. You make your way back to the shore where the dormouse is waiting with
Oh, on
an
the shore.
army of mice. You are led. He quickly opens the door, summoning you all through it, and you are back in the homestead. And he is just. Did you get it? Did you get it? And he's hugging you, he's wrapping his arms around you, and he's like, oh, we should go. We have to put the door together. We have to go save my friend.
Yeah.
But I can't. Spoilers. You're my favorite. You will see them again.
Do you promise?
I cross my heart.
I'm alright. I'm gonna give her a big old hug.
Do you want to know something, Dull? A lot of times gods find people that really need them. And when you were in that cell, you thought that like you really needed someone. And for the majority of the time that's the case. But not this time. I needed you, Dull. Because you managed to open a door that most people can't come back from. You saw the worst that humanity had to offer, and you managed to open up a door to joy. And as angry as you are, as rage-filled as you are, it was a door that I never thought was possible to open. You taught me something. I think that's why I love you.
I'm just gonna miss my friends.
I understand. Let's do this. And he will take you back upstairs, and he will place a hand on the door to your room with the big bed, and he'll pull off the doorknob, and he'll hand it to you. And he says, anytime we have a break, with their permission, you can come right back here. This is your room. This is your bed. These are your friends. But we have work to do.
Mandrake is going to walk over to her, and he's going to say, you know, for once, I didn't take anything that didn't belong to me.
Yeah, and that's thanks to me.
That's kind of what I was saying. You're a good dog.
You're damn right I am. I put my hat on his shoulder.
Group hug?
Oh,
Group
Yeah.
hug.
I still wish I had grabbed something on the way out.
Well, you didn't, sucker!
Did anybody else say anything to her as the dormouse makes his way?
She's not gonna say anything. She's just gonna like.
It's a good hug.
It's a good.
I get it.
It's a good hug.
Hey, Dull. Don't stay away too long.
I don't want her, so I won't.
Okay.
Don't put that frilly shit on ever again, okay? Because I didn't like that.
whatever you say, doll.
But no. I mean, you can if I'm gone, I don't care, but like, not around me.
I'm just gonna go here, just give her a squeeze and be like, until next time.
Okay. You're real quiet. Which is very different than royalty that I have been around before.
Thank you.
I didn't trust you. But I do now.
It's good to know. You're fantastic. I'm sure they'll get to tell me what happened, since I kind of missed it all. But from the sound of the door crashing,
Oh,
pretty
I
impressive.
slammed the shit out of her.
The,
I'm glad you heard that.
the dormouse starts laughing and says, we have to go, sweetie. And he grabs your hand.
Real quick, did you decide platinum or gold?
Greedy bitch.
And he tosses some bags of gold on the counter, totaling out to be 100,000 gold pieces.
Divided by 5.
25,000.
25,000 gold pieces.
6.
26,000 gold pieces.
Never
person.
trust. Never trust.
Wait, what?
That will do.
Oh,
But
where we're going, we don't need gold.
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't want to do that shit.
No.
well, that's convenient. I was about to give you some.
It's pretty.
They drop the gold, and as he does, he walks out the door. And at day, you are sort of watching as, and everyone is, as Dull and the Dormouse walk out to that same area where the fire was. And they sit, and he's like, I want to tell you a story, Dull, about how we're going to rescue my friend,
Who'd you fight?
Cheshire. And the door closes. You spend some time in your room, the contents of which you have a brown box and you have a rose journal. This rose journal was intended to be something else, but the fates were changed. And now you are being introduced to something a hell of a lot earlier than I was going to have you introduced to you.
Oh no.
You take some time with the journal, and as you open it up, you open up the first page of it, and your heart skips a beat. And it says, The Journal of Eliza Day.
The Journal of Eliza Day.
Your mother.
Go.
As you begin to peruse, it chronicles the love affair that she had with someone from another kingdom. About how this person was royalty. And how they hid a child away. And your heart starts beating real fast.
Yeah, I can tell.
Because that means there's royalty in somebody's blood. And you spend the night reading that journal. You and I will have to have a talk.
We really gotta have a talk, Billy.
But say thank you to Audie, because this came out way sooner than it should, but this is big. Okay?
Thank you, Audie.
Do you open the box?
I can open it now, or I can wait to open it. What's
It's up to
better?
you.
I find a spot by myself to open it up.
You go outside. It's beautiful outside. There's lightning bugs and stuff about, and you spend some time outside communing with nature. And as you do, you go over to this box, and you're feeling powerful magic coming from this box. It radiates the caterpillar's sort of energy, as if to support you in this decision. As you go over, a bunch of moths start flying sort of around you and stuff like that, and you're feeling nature sort of responding to the box itself. As you open the box, you don't know what you expect to find in this box, but it's definitely not what you expected. You open this box and you're looking for jewels, a weapon, a crown, a chrysalis, a map, anything that ties in. And you pull out the thing that's in the box and you sort of look under it and look around it, and it's this can't be it. And there's a frustration that hits as you sort of look down at the toy in the wooden box. It's a stuffed elephant. And as you sort of reach this toy and sort of squeeze it a little bit, the eyes glow ever so faintly, and you don't know why the caterpillar drew you to this particular object, why this particular item calls to you. But as you hold it, you are filled with curiosity and wonder and a little something.
Wicked?
Sure, we'll go with that. Long rest. Everybody rest. You spend the night reading the book. You and I will talk about that.
Yeah.
Everybody else take some time. You and Gray talk. He's like, what do you think so far?
You out for a night hunt? Really put this, put it on and really go for it.
Always.
Let's go.
You spend the night hunting.
Done.
It goes really well.
Oh, shit.
We'll talk about your adventures. We'll talk about you just sleeping with the gold. I love gold. The next morning, there is a knock at your door. At the front door of the house.
They would answer it. She probably didn't go to she probably didn't sleep a
Uh,
lot.
Day, you open the door begrudgingly. Thoe's always up pretty early, so Thoe is standing next to you. Before you stands a man.
Of course it is.
Bare-chested, green skin, pants, very simple shoes. He has a large, like dog-sized spider with big eyes on his shoulder. That sort of like almost looks like it's smiling and like chittering at you. And he reaches up with one hand and scratches it. It's just with one hand because with the other he holds out a golden dragon scale. And from his lips come the word,
Dear, I do believe this belongs to you.
and that's where we're going to end tonight's episode, kids. Thank you so much for tuning into an amazing episode of Something Wicked. I'm going to do a round of applause for Dull, who is the most precious of us all. And must be saved at all costs. Will you come back and play again? She has
Yes,
many more stories to tell. And we've just barely scratched the surface of what there is to tell. Thank you so much for everybody who puts their hearts and souls into this. Thank you for doing a heist in an hour. I really wanted some real time components there.
Yeah.
And you guys knocked it out of the park. You were creative. We had pet penguins. We had the ball bearings and broken doors. So we've got more things. You and I need to talk. You and I can talk about what you found and stuff like that. And then next week we're going to be meeting someone new. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys all had a great time. Give us a like, give us a follow up top, and you'll know when the next episode comes out. Thank you, Audie, for changing my storyline way faster than it should have, but it's still going to be great. Thank you, Moswald, for lending us Bo, who now lives in wonder, chasing enchanted alcohol. We're going to talk about this drunk monk and what we can do, and things of that sort. And once again, keep connecting, keep finding people that share your nerdy passions. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Hey, do you wonder?